We've spoken a lot about weight loss jabs on this show, but now a death has been linked to the jabs for the very first time in the UK.
It was only back in August when 58-year-old nurse Susan McGowan took 2 low-dose injections of the NHS-approved weight loss drug tirzepatide.
However, just 2 weeks into administering the injections, Susan tragically passed away, with her death certificate being the first to officially link a slimming jab to a death in the UK.
Here to speak about her aunt's life and raise awareness is Susan's niece Jade, alongside bariatric surgeon Mr. Shaw Summers. Thank you guys for joining us today. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning,
So,
thank you.
For being here. Can you first of all paint a picture? Tell us a little bit about Susan.
Gladly.
No.
So firstly, thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Susan was the life and soul of any room that you walked into. She was really generous, she was kind. You were almost scared to say when you needed something because the next day she'd have it at your doorstep.
Oh, she sounded lovely.
Yeah, she was. And
she had a good laugh, didn't she? I heard she had a great laugh.
Yeah, brilliant laugh. She was just a character, and I think a lot of people have said there's just no one like her, and there isn't going to be anyone else like her. Really, really bubbly, and missed by a lot of people. Yeah,
she was loved on the ward, wasn't she? She was a nurse and everyone loved
her. Yeah, so Susan actually, she worked in the ward for years and years, and then she became a bed manager at the hospital as well. So she was in and out of every possible ward in that hospital. So she knew a lot of people. So yeah, there's a lot of sadness around that hospital just now without her.
And did she struggle with her weight for a while? What was her weight loss journey?
Yeah, so I would say, like anyone, she wanted to lose weight, you know, and she tried a lot of different things. She tried Slimming World, she was at the gym for, a number of years as well. Life got really busy. She cared for her mum at home, so my gran at home for, 12 years, 13 years. So life just got really busy. And when my gran had passed away, Susan, took time, dealt with things. And then a couple of years ago, she decided, right, we're going to sell this house and she's going to get her own place. So this year was the first year that she bought her own place, and she was just ready to have a new lease of life. She had booked numerous holidays abroad. So she just wanted to look good and feel good for going on all those holidays and weddings that were coming up as well.
Like we all do.
Yeah, exactly.
We all want to do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So did she talk to you about actually having the weight loss drug?
Yeah, so she did. She contacted me. Susan and I were very close, so she told me everything.
Yeah.
So she told me when she was thinking about ordering it, and there was no really talking Susan out of anything. She was quite headstrong, so when she had her mind set on something, she was probably going to do it, no matter what you said against it.
But I'm sure she researched it, because she's a nurse.
She did, yeah.
I think she would have probably gone into it quite deeply, would you?
She did. So she spoke to colleagues, she spoke to pharmacists, and yeah, she did her own research as well. I think when I started researching it and trying to find out more about it, and I think just kind of the complications that could maybe happen afterwards, there wasn't a lot out there.
Right.
There wasn't a lot of studies out there, and there wasn't a lot to know. Even when you researched online, the studies are minimal right now about these injections.
Well, because it
Less
is
than 2 years.
Still quite new, so the studies are still kind of catching up at the same time. But after she started taking the treatment, I think she took 2 injections?
She did,
right.
yeah, so she took 2.
And then things kind of really progressed really quickly and got very dangerous very quickly.
Yeah, so Susan took them on a Tuesday, so the second Tuesday. She was feeling okay the first week. She didn't really feel much except the loss of appetite.
Yeah.
And then into her second week, she had no appetite and no thirst either. So she was just struggling to hydrate herself. And I think that's what came out, especially her first day in hospital. They said everything inside was bone dry. So she hadn't hydrated herself because she didn't feel that thirst that second week.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, and it was very, very quick. So when she went into hospital, she'd only had really stomach pains for 2 days before that. So the Friday night following the second injection, and then the Saturday night as well. And she had severe sickness all night on the Saturday. So everything hit her extremely quickly, very quickly, before she took herself down to A&E on the Sunday morning.
So she phoned up A&E and she went down?
Yeah, she took herself in a taxi, and I still get angry at that right now. Why wouldn't she phone? To have someone take her, but that was just Susan. I think she just kind of tried to handle things on her own as well, and that was just her personality, to be honest.
And when she got to the hospital, what was the hospital's reaction? What was the information that was available to you?
So I got a phone call from her just as soon as she got into the hospital, the A&E. We went down, a couple of family members went down, and she was extremely honest about what she had taken. So I think she knew from the minute she went in hospital what had caused her to go into hospital.
Yeah.
There was no other changes to her kind of lifestyle other than this injection in those last couple of weeks. So she was angry at herself for taking them. She was telling me on the Sunday, I promise never to take them again. Like, I'll never touch them again. Jade, take them, get them out my fridge and put them in the bin. Yeah, she was really upset just knowing that could be what caused it. And she was really honest with her doctors when she went in as well. Yeah, she wanted to make sure they knew the whole story and they could try and do everything they could to possibly help her.
And then things deteriorated really quickly.
They did, yeah. So on the Sunday, Susan, she was just very dehydrated. She was getting full of fluids. And I can't fault the hospital. They did everything they possibly could for her. I think just things had gone too far for her. She spent 2 days in the ward before she went into the ICU. And when she was in the ICU, it was just deteriorating very, very quickly.
She did, unfortunately, sadly pass away. You were by her side.
Yeah, her whole family,
yeah. Her family.
Not just me, it was every person closest to her was at that hospital. And they made sure they were there the full time she was in ICU. No one wanted to leave her bedside, and no one did.
Awful.
Well, let's talk to Dr. Shaw this morning. Hi.
Good morning, Dr. Shaw.
Good morning. Good morning, ladies. Good morning, Jade. I'm very sorry to hear about Susan. I read about the report, and it's clearly a tragedy for your family and tragedy for all those struggling with their weight who need something to give them hope to find a way of losing weight.
What do we know about this drug, though, Dr. Summers? What do we know about tirzepatide?
So it's one of a class of drugs that was originally designed to treat diabetes, and it's very, very good at helping to control diabetes by changing the way the metabolism works and by increasing the body's sensitivity to its own insulin, so diabetes gets better. But the clinicians that were using it 10 years ago or so discovered that it would also reduce the appetite, and most patients who were on it lost weight. And so it didn't take much of a leap to sort of think of using it as a weight loss drug in people who aren't diabetic. And it does work very well. And in general, it's very, very safe compared to either staying big or to some of the other treatments that we use to manage excessive weight. Now, in Susan's case, unfortunately, she had that unfortunate combination of having gallstones and taking the drug. And we know that the drug tirzepatide or its similar drugs, semaglutide and liraglutide, do slow down the way your digestive system functions. And by slowing that down, it accelerates the development of gallstones. Now, Susan unfortunately died of pancreatitis, and it is possible that the tirzepatide made her gallbladder a bit slower. The stones ejected a bit of sludge, and that went down and triggered pancreatitis. And pancreatitis can be a serious illness. When we prescribe tirzepatide, we always ask patients about symptoms of indigestion, bloating after meals, burping, the typical symptoms of gallstones. And if people have suggestions of that, they should have an ultrasound scan before they start these medications so that their gallstones can be treated. And then it's safe to take. You won't get pancreatitis. So unfortunately, I think Susan was just really, really unlucky to get this. I don't think the drug after 2 doses caused the pancreatitis because of the drug. I think it just probably accelerated the gallstones. And we know that 1 in 10 people has gallstones. They are very, very common.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we know that Susan did the right thing. She went to the hospital. She was very honest about her treatment. I've got a reply here from the MHRA Chief Safety Officer, Dr. Alison Cave. She said, patient safety is our top priority. No medicine would be approved unless it met our expected standards. New medicines are more intensively monitored to ensure that any new safety issues are identified promptly. We encourage patients and healthcare professionals to continue reporting suspected side effects through our yellow card system when a safety issue is confirmed. We always act promptly.
Manjaro maker Lily said, patient safety is Lily's top priority. We're committed to continually monitoring, evaluating and reporting safety information for all Lily medicines. We provide information about the benefits and risks of all our medicines to regulators to ensure the latest information is available for prescribers. If anyone is experiencing any side effects, they should talk to their doctor or healthcare professional.
Yes, immediately, I think, is what we've learned from Susan's experience. Thank you so much for coming today and talking about it.
I'm so sorry about your loss. Thank you so much.
Because the more it gets out there, the more it could help other people too.
I think it's an awareness piece. People need to know that they need to speak to their GPs, they need to do their research. So you're welcome.
Thank you, Jade. And thank you, Dr. Shaw, too. Thank you very much for joining us this morning. Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every day. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out. And we'll see you in the morning. Our next guest knows the importance of Remembrance Day. On February 28th, 2008, Ben McBean was on foot patrol in Afghanistan when he stepped on a landmine just days before he was set to go home. As a result, Ben lost his left arm and his right leg was amputated above the knee.
Described as a hero by Prince Harry after they shared a flight home from Afghanistan, Ben went on to run multiple London marathons, complete the Three Peaks Challenge and reach Everest Base Camp to raise money for veteran charities.
I love how he's just smiling about it as well. So it's no big deal.
Down there.
Hi, Ben. Thank you for joining us
Pleasure.
this morning.
So nice to meet you.
Thank you. So let's talk first of all about why did you want to be in the Marines? Because you always wanted to, right from being a kid.
Yeah, so my uncle was in the Royal Marines and he got married and I saw these big men in suits or the uniform and I just thought, I want to be like one of them. And then when I got to about 13, I could take it a bit more seriously. So my uncle started taking me out for runs and just seeing if I got the right type of skills and qualities. And then, yeah, left school and by then I knew that this is something that I really wanted to do.
And by the age of just 20, you were deployed straight away. 20 is so young.
Yeah.
What was you feeling before you went out there?
To be honest with you, I mean, as a Royal Marine, you're on the front line anyway, and our job is to fight. So it's not like I want to go to war, so to speak, but that's my job. So if I didn't go to war, that I wouldn't have been okay with that, if you know what I mean. I joined up to fight. So, yeah, when I was told I was going there, it was okay, right now I get to actually do my job. All that training, 32 weeks, now I actually get to do my job and fight and, you know, hope that thing back home stays safe and nothing changes. And that's why I went there, and to do my bit.
And how long were you there for? And you were actually, just before you had your accident, you were due to come home.
Yeah, so we didn't have long to go. I think I was there like 4.5 months, out of a 6-month tour. So you kind of, like, you do start thinking a little bit about going back.
De-rigging.
Yeah,
together,
just kind of calming down a bit. Yeah, and then just woke up one morning and my mind just said, you're going to get killed today. And then obviously...
What, you actually thought that on the morning?
Yeah, there's not a lot you can obviously do about it. So I remember shaking the guy's hands. Everyone's like, oh, shut up, Ben, just get ready. And we got out on patrol. 3 hours later, I wake up on the floor and my right leg's gone. My arm was, like, in a bad way. My knee was blown out and stuff. And I just thought, I think I'm going to die in a minute. And that was it.
And so was you aware the whole time, or did you black out?
No, I was awake. So I was upside down for a few seconds and I thought I was caught in a tree, but I wasn't. And I just hit the ground and it literally felt like an elephant was on my chest. And I sat up and my leg came up and the whole shin bone was sticking out with no foot on the end. And then my arm was facing the other way. And I just saw bits of blood and meat and flesh everywhere. And I couldn't really do anything. So I crawled around a bit and then my bones scraped across the floor and I think the pain was quite bad. So I kind of stopped for a second and then obviously I was dying then. So I just thought I should probably think about family. So I just did that for a bit. And just as I was thinking about mum, dad, brother, I got 4 sisters as well. That's when I got rescued.
And so you got taken to hospital. When did you next come around again and realise the severity of your situation?
Yeah, so the lads on the ground rescued me, got taken in the Chinook helicopter to Camp Bastion where they, like, chopped the rest of my leg off and my arm off. So I didn't know about the arm. I thought I might be able to save it. I then woke up in Selly in Birmingham and I knew my leg was gone, but the bandage on my arm was so big and I have a thing called phantom limb sensation and pain, so I can still move my
you feel
fingers.
like it's still there, don't you?
So for about a week, I was like, oh, it's still there. And then the bandage kept coming up. And I think because I was on like the drugs as well, even though it was obvious it had gone, I still hadn't really worked it out. So after about a week, when I realised it was gone, that's what kind of upset me the most. I knew about the leg, but it was the arm that I lost that kind of got me the most, to be honest.
Ben, what's unbelievable is your positivity has
Yes.
just remained. You were in hospital, you watched the London Marathon, you thought, I'm going to do that. You thought, I'm going to do the 3 peaks, you did that. You smashed Everest, base camp. Like, your mentality is on another level. Where does that come from in you? That resilience?
I think everyone's got that kind of mentality. Something just brings it out of you. And for me, it was the Royal Marines that kind of brought it out of me. And then when I got injured, the true me came alive, so to speak, where I've always had it in me, but because I hadn't been put in a situation like that before, it didn't need to show. So, and I think as well, my ego as well, like, obviously being a Royal Marine, you know, I think, right, I've been told I can't do this, that and the other, you know, I'll be the judge of that. And that kind of got me through a lot of things as well. And now I know I can do things, I can calm down a bit. I can do everything by myself. I just do it slightly differently to an able-bodied person. And that just means, like, here I'm on my own, I drove here on my own, and I can do all sorts of things. So, yeah, that my ego kind of got me through it, but also deep down, I think everyone's probably a lot stronger than what you think.
Ben, you make it sound so easy, and it isn't at all. We're going to go and celebrate now with the rest of everybody with the memorial. And veteran Ben McBean has stayed with us. Have a seat, Ben. Incredibly moving scenes. Why do you think it is so important that the nation remembers?
Yeah, I think it's important because it's a bit like if you've got kids, like, you know, you have to explain to them at some point that things cost money and they can't just have everything. It's the same kind of thing where, you know, we're not here for free. Like, it costs someone something, and in their case, lives. So I think it's important to make sure that that message is passed on, the story stays alive. Obviously, the older people know and they choose to pay respects or not. But I think for young generations, it's important for me to wear my poppy, share my story and their stories, just so they're aware that, like, you're not here for free. It cost a lot of people a lot of lives. And, you know, things really wouldn't be the same if we hadn't won that war.
You talk about the children. It's interesting that you now are a motivational speaker, and so many kids now are aspiring to serve their country, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, my story sounds bad because I got blown up and almost died, but, like, there are a lot of positives that have come off the back of it. And, you know, my injury lasted 1 second, but my mentality is what I really talk about, and that's why I like to talk to kids and adults as well. And just say, like, you know, things can get really tough in life, but it's how we react to those things that counts. And I think if you react well to certain things, you can't help it if you have a massive setback, but you can react to it in the right way. And that's why I've been able to move forward, and that's what I try and explain to people.
Yeah, before we cut to the memorial, actually, you were saying how it was kind of your ego a little bit and how you stayed positive. And these are actually all things that we can all apply to our life at times when it gets hard. But you go above and beyond. I mean, the marathon.
Yeah, that was, again, that was like, so my options were train and lose skin before I start, or don't train and lose skin at the end. So I just turned up and just ran. And I managed to do it. And then
Harry was at the end there for you?
Yeah, and then that was...
You and Harry best mates?
Yeah, that was it. We did this 40-yard mile run, I think it was, for the British Legion. And he was just at the hotel, literally ran across the finish line, and then he was just there. So, yeah, I've met him a few times, and he sent me, like, crates of beer down and get well cards when I've been sick and stuff like that. So, yeah.
Well, absolute inspiration,
Harry
Ben.
thinks he's a hero. I think he's a hero.
You are a hero.
Thank you, Ben.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here this
And he's raised so
morning.
much money for helping
He's amazing.
for heroes as well.
He's amazing. What can you do? Thank you for
Thank
joining
you, Ben.
us. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Just wanted to say thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. Now, listen, we upload new content every day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out. And we'll see you in the morning.
Very different. It's what this morning's all about,
Yes, I think
feel,
so.
don't you? Our next guest isn't running for president, but 26-year-old Alexia Grace has built up her own base of loyal followers by selling something very personal.
Yeah, she graduated from university, and Alexia quickly grew tired of her minimum wage barista job, much as she loved it. So she stopped selling coffee and started selling her own sweat instead.
Yes, you heard that right. After an intense workout, Alexia bottles up jars of her own sweat and sells it to her fans online, which she says makes her up to £10,000 a week.
It's extraordinarily lucrative. Clearly, Alexia joins us now. Tell us all about this very unique business. Good morning, Alexia.
Morning. Morning.
Thank you for coming in. We've gone from the sublime to the ridiculous, essentially, talking about politics.
Bit of a switch up.
So you weren't always doing what you're doing online and as an influencer and selling things like that. You had 9-to-5 jobs previously. What sort of things had you been doing?
So, like, my main line of work was cabin crew, and I started doing this in lockdown. So I was cabin crew, and then in lockdown I was a barista. And then I sort of like fell into this line of work on accident, to be honest. Furlough wasn't paying too well, so I was like, right, I need more money. And then that's how I fell into it.
So hold on. So you went to university.
Yes.
You studied at university, then you were just doing coffees, and then what was the transition between that and doing stuff online?
So lockdown happened
Right.
whilst I was a barista, and I was getting furloughed. And
Right.
obviously we all know furlough was like, the pay was so bad.
Yeah.
So I was like, right, I need to make more money. And like OnlyFans was a massive thing in lockdown. Like everyone was starting to do it. I had a friend that had just started doing it. I messaged her, she was like, I've just bought a new phone with the money I've made. So I was like, okay, I want to buy a new phone. I'm going to start doing it. I can pay my bills off because I'm struggling right now with the furlough.
Student, yeah.
Exactly. So that's how I like fell into that side of things.
So you start with a side hustle, which was built around OnlyFans initially. When did it develop into what you're doing now, which has become the most lucrative parts of your world, which is selling sweat, though, Alexia?
So I started boxing on a show called Misfits, and obviously that's like very mainstream. Everyone knows about it. So
Misfits was a lot of influencers and
Exactly.
people online learning to box and then having big boxing matches. KSI was involved and Logan Paul, I think, or Jake Paul.
Yeah, exactly. So I fought on the KSI Tommy Fury card. So it was massive, everyone knew about it. And one person actually messaged me and asked me if they could buy, it was my head guard that I like spar in. So I was like, okay then, yeah, sure. And then he recommended me on, I think it was a Reddit group,
Right.
that like, I sell my sweat essentially. And then they all just came flowing in, like so many of them wanting to buy it. And then that's when someone asked me to buy one of these, a jar.
So you've actually bought a vial of your sweat in for
I
us.
bought two, one for you each.
One each, thank you. That's
Thank
very
you
generous.
very much. I might start wearing it around my neck or something like that.
A new perfume.
But how do you do it? Like, what is the process? Because that's quite a lot of sweat you've got in there.
It is. So
That's impressive.
So when someone first asked me for a vial, like obviously, you know, a head guard, gloves, it's easy. You just wear them and then sell them. But when someone asked me for a vial, I was up front, I was like, I have no idea. How on earth do I fill a vial with sweat? And obviously, he liked to buy sweat, so he had already bought it before, so he knew how to. And he basically told me to put a sweatsuit on, which I obviously already knew what one of them was because of the boxing.
What is a sweatsuit for people who
Sorry,
don't know?
it's like a big bin bag that like cuffs around your ankles, cuffs around your wrists, and people like professional like sports people use it for like boxing and that sort of stuff.
If you want to make weight, it
get
allows you to
sweat on. Yeah, exactly.
lose weight.
People lose water weight. You can lose so much water weight. So if you can imagine, when you lift that sweatsuit up, it drips off you. So he literally said, get like a bowl or a cup or whatever, wring your clothes in it, and then get, like a Calpol syringe.
Yes.
Use that and then
Put it in
into
the
one of these.
Now, it's quite a peculiar request, Alexia. How did you feel? Did you feel comfortable doing that? Were you kind of going, look, I'm going to be really commercial about this. If someone wants to pay me for my sweat, I'm not going to use it. Why not?
Yeah, exactly. I think in my job, you become very like desensitized to everything. Like, there's a new normal. Like, something I find normal, you guys probably wouldn't find normal. So I was like, yeah, like, whatever. I was more like, how do I do this? How do you do it? That was more of my concern, like, how on earth do I get it in a jar?
Intrigued with the process.
Exactly, yeah.
Well, it's also so interesting because it's actually really lucrative as well. Like, it's not just a few pounds here and there. Tell me about how much you make and
How
what
much
you've
would one of
bought
those
with
vials
it
be?
and-
Yeah.
So it depends. So depending on like how fast they want it. So if they're like, right, I want you to go for a run, I want you to put it in the jar and send it to me right now. Like, they're paying for my time. So that's going to cost more. But if somebody's like, can you get me a jar like as soon as you can, like no rush, 150.
So £150 for a jar about
But
that
what
big.
of those?
Yeah, but that's if they're not in a rush.
You
so
are
I can do
winning at life, Alexia.
So
Like,
if
I
they
can do
want
it my
it
own
more
time.
urgently, you can charge. What's the most you've charged for a vial?
Well, I've got one guy that's brought not just vials, but he buys me head guards on my Amazon wish list, and then I wear them do my stuff, boxing gloves a lot, and overall, so I've been doing it for a year and a half, he spent 40,000 on it.
£40,000?
Yeah.
So what have you bought with that money?
I'm not really like a big spender. Like, I'm trying to like invest in my future. So I bought a house in cash very recently.
A house in cash?
Yeah, I've got an M4 competition. That's the one thing I do have that
that's
like
a car.
costs. Yeah, sorry, it's a car. That's like a 60 grand car. That's the only one thing I've got that's like not an asset, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I've just bought my house in cash. I'm looking to buy another house very soon. So it's put me in a very good position.
It has put you in a good... Have you got any idea... This is going to be sort of... It's a very intensive question, but I understand that it's a bit creepy.
Ask it.
Do you know what they do with the sweat?
I've got a vague idea, but sort of like when they take it off me, they do what they want. Like, I don't really know.
So they wear it or they just
Probably.
enjoy it somehow?
Yeah, exactly.
Do you feel safe doing this, Alexia? I'm worried slightly that they, you know, some of these people, clearly somebody who's spending over £40,000 on you and has bought you lots of cars is sort of quite obsessed with the idea of what you're giving him.
Of course, there's obviously the risk factor, but I feel like the platform, it does protect you from these things. They don't know where I live, you know, so I do keep myself safe. I have got 2 security dogs as well.
Do you?
Yeah.
Security dogs?
Yeah, protection dogs, yeah.
But what about your friends and your family too? Do they just turn around and go, actually, if they'll pay it, you can earn the money? Or do they get a bit worried about your safety, kind of like Ben was saying?
I think at first, my family were a little bit like, you know, you've got to be careful. Like, there's people out there that are obsessed. But I mean, I've been doing this for, like, OnlyFans in general for 4 years. Obviously, I've been selling this sweat for almost 2 years now. And nothing bad's happened. So, no, they're not concerned, really.
And what about the future for you, though, Alexia? Do you want to keep doing this, or have you got plans for something else? And do you want to go back to being a barista at some point?
Well, future in terms of this sort of line of work, as long as I can physically do it for, until it drains out.
Until you run dry?
Quite literally, until I can't sweat no more. But in the sense of, I want to go back into being a barista, but I want to, like, open my own coffee shop.
Sure.
Like, I want to work for myself. That is my plan. And then, obviously, like I said, about properties.
Well, it sounds like you've got a great business mind. I mean, you're approaching this in a very open-minded way, and what you might find sort of acceptable might not be what we do, but it doesn't mean it's not viable in some way.
No, absolutely. Stay hydrated. You'll get that coffee shop before you know it.
And they're for us, are they? They're our Christmas presents.
Yes, these are yours.
Let me have a look. There we go.
Your new perfume.
Slightly cloudy.
Yeah.
Might check the pH balance.
That's actually come from my sock.
This is from a sock.
Yeah, from yesterday. I put a sweatsuit on and went for a little run.
At least it's fresh. Yesterday.
Yeah, it's fresh.
Do you put a date on them or anything?
No, I don't. But the people, I'd usually message them, like, I've just done it now, I'm going to send it. So they sort of have an idea.
Can I just ask a question? Because we've had these vials on this morning now, people would be more interested in this. It might actually be more valuable because people have seen you talk about it.
Yeah.
So this is going up in value the longer you hold it.
Yeah, exactly.
OK, well, I'm going to give it back because I want you to get your coffee shop.
Oh, thank
Which would be an
you.
amazing
Yeah,
thing.
that would be an amazing thing.
Thank you.
That's the one that I held that came from your sock.
Look, Alexia, whatever we all think about it, you've clearly you're going about this in the really sort of smart way, and it's really extraordinary to hear what you're doing. Stay safe and carry on. Yeah.
Thank you so much for having me.
Being so entrepreneurial.
Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out, and we'll see you in the morning. For all of that, she's built one of the most successful fragrance empires in the world, despite leaving school with no qualifications, and now she wants to help others by coaching budding businesswomen.
Yeah, Jo Malone, CBE, is going to be sharing her wisdom in a new BBC Maestro course, as well as with our This Morning viewers today in our phone-in. Good morning, Jo.
Good morning.
So, I mean, we can't wait to get to this phone. We've got lots of people on the line. Can you explain a little bit about what Maestro is and the course that you've put together?
So BBC Maestro is a whole plethora of people from everyone from Marco Pia White, Trini Woodall, and we're all giving our experience and our wisdom and the adventures and the little hacks that we've helped build us kind of global businesses. And for me, mine is, when they first asked me, which was a couple of years ago, it was like, I never went to university. I never finished school. I've got no qualifications. What am I going to create 4 hours of content? You know, what am I going to do? And I realised that what they wanted was how I thought about life differently and that entrepreneurial heart. And so I teach you in this course how to fill your entrepreneurial toolbox with everything you're going to need to build a business, share your life, raise your kids, teach children in education, all kinds of things. All of these things will be relevant for you.
So what are the attributes that you need to become a successful entrepreneur?
You need passion.
Yeah.
You have to feel it. If you don't feel it, no one else is going to. You have to be resilient. You have to be a little bit like a warrior because, trust me, you're going to fall down. You're going to graze your knees and you've got to get up again and you've got to fight. So you need resilience and that opportunity that you give yourself that says, sometimes I need to fail in order. I mean, how many times have we all failed?
Oh, yes.
But we don't
Endlessly.
talk about that, do we?
And also you learn more, I think, from when you fail, you learn a lot more than when you succeed.
Nelson Mandela said, I always win or I learn. And if you look at life like that, and so I will teach you to look through different eyes in this course and say to yourself, it's okay. And I share some of my worst moments, which people love your worst moments.
Of course, because as we know the headlines of how successful you've been with the businesses that you've created, but understanding how you've got to that success is
Ben,
huge.
I've made lots of mistakes along the way, and I don't share all of them, but I share enough to make people feel that they can identify. The last thing is really important. It's creativity.
Yeah.
So I believe that everybody in this world has a bank account, OK? And it's full of creative currency. And the only one that can access it is you, only you. That creative bank account will help fulfill your dreams. It will help you think about life differently. But that bank account will only go up in value if you use it. Otherwise, it just stays stagnant. So, you've had lovely Martin Lewis talking about finances. Creativity is exactly the same as a currency.
And you offer, really practical advice. You were talking there about creativity. And isn't there an exercise that you do where you take all different items that are white?
Yes.
And then the person has to come up with an idea. Explain it.
So this is if I'm going to be interviewing someone for a creative team. So what I'm looking for is I'm looking for the child in them. That's what I'm looking for. So I'll get a tray. Everybody does the interviews with their CV. By the way, I'm just going to bring this out. This is one of my treasured things. I was once asked for my CV in life, and this is my CV.
That's a very small CV.
There you go.
In fact, it's a tiny CV.
Because actually, I've never qualified at anything. I've got no qualifications. So that's my CV.
Have you ever interviewed for a job, though, Jo?
I have, and I sort of managed to waffle my way through and say, give me a chance. But, people get so hung up. It's important to have your CV, of course it is, and there'll be people that within my team that look through the CV and talk through it, but I'm interested in the child. So I'll get a tray of product that are all white, as though it's a canvas. There'll be a tennis ball, kick and change, a white mug, a can opener. What else did we have in there? A paintbrush. And I will say to them, OK, you have 10 minutes. I'm going to leave the room. One, all of them. But you have to choose something, and when I come back in the room, I want you to have sold me a product that you've created in your head.
Wow.
And let me tell you, 10-year-olds can do it.
I bet they can. I bet they can. Fascinating as an idea. Right, let's get to the phone lines, Jo, because there's lots of people desperate to speak to you. Let's start with Melody, who's in Kent. Hi there, Melody.
Good morning.
Lovely to have you phone in. What's your question for Jo?
So I'm at the very, very beginning stages of planning on opening my own doggy cake and cupcake business for doggies. And I don't even know where to start apart from trading standards, because obviously I need to get some, I don't know what you call it, regulatory things. I don't even know how to pronounce it. So if you can help me on that, I would really be appreciative.
Oh, hello, Melody. I'm so happy to hear that you want to create your own business. And two things I love in life, which is being an entrepreneur, and I love dogs. So this is perfect for me. So you're creating your own cupcake. Have you got the name of the brand? Don't say it if you haven't registered it, by the way, but do you have the name of your brand and your story?
I have got one in my head, but I need to run it past my family to make sure that they're happy with it. I have mentioned it to my dog and she looked at me with two heads, but that's
Well, first of all, what I would love to kind of just give you a couple of ideas of. So my head is always in marketing. So one great idea would be to make a whole lot of cupcakes in, running up to your launch, and go and stand near parks where everyone is walking their dogs. And as the dogs come out, they're often sort of hungry, aren't they? Because they've been running around the park and they're dirty. Do tiny little cupcakes. And maybe if people love them and you come back, you could do tiny little cupcake collars that everybody puts onto their dogs who's tried a cupcake. And then you can get testimonials. So that would be one of the kind of creative ideas I would think about. When you're starting a business, you need to think about the name, the product, the name, the strategy, all of those things. So I'm going to give you a little compass now, Melody. All eyes. Inspiration, innovation. So you need to be inspired and you need to innovate and create. Integrity. Now, that's what you're talking about. All the things that you need to do, the legal things, make sure that the cupcakes are safe for the dogs, go through all of their testing and trading. I don't know the governing body that you do that, but there will be people that do. Ignition. So that's when I gave you that idea about standing outside the park and giving them that ignition, that moment. And instinct. What does your gut say? So the world at the minute is going, don't trust your gut. I'm telling you, trust your gut. It is your greatest attribute in business, what feels right. And then package your product, create this amazing story around it, and go and ignite the world.
Love it.
Passion.
Melody, go ignite the world.
Good luck, Melody.
Good luck.
Thank you so much.
Really excited for you. Hope that goes really, really well.
Yeah, enjoy it. Next up, we've got Hannah. Good morning, Hannah. What's your question?
Good morning.
Good morning.
I wanted to ask Jo, what would be her advice to reach more customers and how to set up an online shop? And then how could that into a physical shop? Because I currently have a small business startup, which is with canvases and greeting cards, and they have all handmade custom designs, but I'd like to expand that and then expand it into real life to reach more people.
Oh, hello, Hannah. Well, that sounds... How long has your business been trading for?
I'd say over a year.
Over a year. Did it start out as a hobby?
It did, because I always love to draw and I love to paint, especially in watercolours, which is what most of the cards are made out of.
Amazing, amazing. So, first of all, one of the things I would say is people are always looking for artists. They're always looking for, like, packaging to be recreated. So I would set up something on Instagram and I would take all of your art and all of your beautiful cards and I would take your images and put them onto all different things. So all different images. At the moment, Instagram needs to be very, very emotional and we need to connect in it. So maybe it will be a beautiful greeting card, but maybe, Kat, it was your birthday and you'd had the beautiful label on a water bottle and a wine bottle.
Right.
So you could take your images and put them on different things and create kind of different packaging. Taking your business from online to bricks and mortar to a physical store is a big step, Hannah. It really is. And it means a lot of expense. So if you have that money in the bank, good luck, and there'll be lots of steps along the way. But what I would say to you is, have you looked into all the things that you could do online first? So if you have that pool of money, say you have £1,000, £2,000, whatever it is, could you take that money and put it in to your website and create something more of an experience? Because when you have something online, it's a global store. Look at it like that.
Yes.
You have your first global store you're able to show. The other idea I had for you was to join up with 3-4 other entrepreneurial businesses. So it might be your local art gallery. It could be your local church on a Sunday. Could you put a little, gallery together for them? So think about places where you can go and people that you can share your ideas with, and then take your 3-4 stories and create a lovely press story. Get your local newspaper in to come and tell your story with you. So what we're always looking for is, what's the next step? What's the next step? And it's not always straight ahead. It can sometimes be, look left, look right. Who do I know? Who can I bring in and create this story? But I'd love you to send me some of your ideas for Christmas, and we can start by sharing them on our Instagram. Very happy to do that.
That'd be brilliant.
Amazing,
Yeah.
Hannah.
Good luck, Hannah.
Good luck.
Much.
Right, here's a quick one for you. We've only got a minute left, but Beth's asking about marketing. You've already talked about marketing. She says, it says it's from Beth, but it's my wife and I have a small property furnishing and design business for show homes and holiday rentals. We've done very little marketing so far. We haven't really needed it, but now we want to grow more. What do you recommend is the best initial marketing strategy to implement to reach new customers or build a brand?
So I'm going to go back online. So I've got an idea for you. I'm sorry, what were their names?
Beth.
Beth.
And her partner.
Beth and Mr. Beth.
Or Mrs. Beth.
Yeah. So what I would say to you is AI is going to be your best friend here. So chatbox, ChatGPT, looking at that. But what I would do is I would set up something visual, again, either an Instagram, TikTok, and I would take one room, and every week you and your husband decorate that same room in a different form. You can do it all on AI. DALL-E will be able to help you with all these amazing images, and it's free of charge right at this moment. We can use these are our fingertips. Change that room every single week and get a wonderful narrative, people sharing their stories. Then what will happen is someone will go, that's such a clever idea. How about we sponsor you, and the cushions that you put on the sofa, you get a cut from. And so you become your own creator and influencer, and you're able then to create revenue, and then you allow your followers to grow, and that's when your business starts to really take off.
Really lovely idea. Really lovely,
idea.
especially if it starts generating revenue as well, because that allows you to sort of invest elsewhere as well, doesn't it, Jo?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, Jo, we've got loads more. We can't get through them all, but thank you for coming in and sharing some of those thoughts.
And if you want more of Jo's invaluable advice, her BBC Maestro course will be available from the 15th of November.
Lovely to see you, Jo.
Thank you.
Have a lovely birthday as well.
Thank you so much,
hello.
everyone.
Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload tons of new content every single day. So hit the subscribe button, like all the videos, and don't miss out. We'll see you in the morning. 19 NHS worker Charlotte was at her lowest, believing there was no way forward.
She made the devastating decision to step onto live train tracks, but fate, or rather a train driver called David, intervened. He managed to stop just in time and help her to safety.
Yeah, what they thought was a one-off encounter turned out to be the start of their love story. And they join us today as husband and wife and parents as well to three gorgeous children. Good morning to both of you. Lovely to see you both. Thank you for joining us. Charlotte, it's an extraordinary story. When you see it written down, it's like a movie script.
Absolutely.
But of course, this is the life that the two of you have experienced and lived. Take us back to that day.
Yeah.
And what was going through your mind when you decided that was it.
Absolutely. 5 years ago, 2019, and it was a pretty normal day, really. But I'd got on the train, ready to go to work, and I remember sitting on the train and just getting that overwhelming feeling off, crying. Got off the train to go to work. I was in my uniform. And instead of leaving the station, I just sat on the platform and the conductor asked if I was OK, and I said, yeah, I'm fine. And he said, are you sure? I said, yeah. And then when the train moved out of the station, I just made an impulsive decision to jump off onto the track. Had
you had thoughts like that previously, or was it the first time that you were overwhelmed by how you were feeling and just decided that you needed to end your life? I've been in the mental health system about 20 years now, so it's not new, but I've never sort of done anything quite so impulsive before.
And what do you think it was that made you get onto the tracks?
I'm not really sure what it was that triggered it. It was a snap moment, and I just thought, do you know, I really feel like I've had enough. And I just jumped.
You were incredibly lucky because essentially, was it a camera saw you walking onto the tracks?
I'm not sure who raised the alarm, but when I was sat there, a train started coming towards me and then stopped. Right. I went into panic thinking, OK, this isn't what's supposed to happen now. What do I do?
Yeah.
And I sat there and then I saw a man getting off. I went into even more panic and I thought, he's going to tell me off, he's going to shout at me, I'm going to be in loads of trouble. But no, he came and introduced himself and said, you know, we'll sit and talk until it feels better. And that's what we did.
And that lovely man is that lovely man sitting there right now. David, what went through your mind? And did you receive a call to say, we have somebody on the track, slow the train down?
Yeah, I'd received a call from the signaller and he advised me that there was somebody on the tracks, and I drove at caution
Yeah.
to that location, obviously where I found Charlotte.
And I mean, tragically, in the past, you've had a couple of people do
That's
drastic
right, yeah.
things in front of your train,
Correct,
and
yeah.
you've never had the chance to sort of stop or talk to them, or...
No.
And so when you suddenly thought, Charlotte, we didn't know it was Charlotte at the time, but there's somebody very vulnerable.
Yeah.
What were you thinking? What was your approach in terms of trying to... Because you had no formal training with regards to helping
No,
someone
there's no
else.
training. I don't think you really need... I don't know, you just need to be yourself, really. It's... It was a matter of just getting Charlotte to safety, really, and making sure she was fine. Obviously, you don't know what sort of situation you're going to go into yourself.
No,
The
you don't know who that person is.
No.
That's a complete stranger, but you know they're in trouble in some way, shape or form.
Yes.
And you still went over there, got out your train, and what did you say to each other, first of all, and what did you talk about? Can you remember?
I basically just asked if she was having a bad day, just to try and break the ice, really.
Yeah.
And then introduce myself.
We just talked about life, really. It wasn't anything sort of groundbreaking or,
No.
you know, we just talked about life experiences and things that we've both been through. And, yeah, and about half an hour later, he managed to convince me to go on the
So
train.
just waited to get back on the train, get off at the next stop.
That's it. Yeah.
And then, of course, you know, you go off where you go off. David, you've got to carry on with the rest of your day. You've got a train full of commuters that are trying to get delivered to work, who have, you know, obviously been waiting for this to happen.
Yeah.
How did you process what you'd been through with this woman on the tracks, who you then knew was Charlotte?
Yeah, it was difficult the rest of the shift, to be fair. I just kept thinking I need to know more about this person, make sure she's fine, really. Obviously, I've had the experiences before and had that chance to find out anything about the person or help that person. And to be able to help somebody, it's just a nice thing to do.
And then, Charlotte, you kind of felt the same. Like, later on, you were like, I actually need to speak to this chap again and say thank you for helping me and thank you for understanding.
Yeah, he was so kind with me, and he really treated me just like I was a human. And I wanted to, I suppose, I didn't know that David had the fatalities before, and I wanted to, like, apologise for putting him in that position, but also thank him for being so good with me. So, yeah, I went on a mission to find him.
So you found each other via a Facebook page, by a colleague.
Yep.
They tracked you down. What's that moment like when you suddenly make contact with Dave?
Terrifying. I typed out a message and it took me about 45 minutes to keep, like, deleting and rewriting. And then, yeah, I just thanked him for being so incredible with me and got a message back saying, you know, I know we've only, like, met yesterday, but if you ever need anybody to talk to, like, I'll always be there.
And what was that moment for you, like, Dave, when that text message came through?
It was a relief to find out that she was fine, yeah. Yeah, it was just, yeah.
And so then what happened next? So it was a gradual thing, and then you started texting each other day after day. The texts got more frequent. And then who made the first proposal of meeting up?
Probably me. I can't remember, but probably
I think
me.
it was, yeah.
And what happened? Tell me.
I'd wanted to meet him for ages, and I just hadn't had, like, the nerve. But we went, we got a coffee, and we just caught back up, and the rest was literally history. We were inseparable after.
And at what point, Dave, did you sort of think this has gone from just being a friendship and a concern for someone to being something a bit more romantic, and actually you're not just wanting to know about her well-being, you're actually falling in love with her?
I can't really remember. It just all escalated, didn't it?
It did.
Yeah, there wasn't a specific point, really. It was it just happened.
So who asked who to marry them? How did you do it? Where did you get married? Come on, I want to know all the details.
Dave asked me, do you know, we decided to go for a late night coffee in Leeds.
Yeah.
And went ring shopping, found the one and had it in my size. So we took it away with us. We said, let's go get a coffee. And he proposed under the huge Christmas tree in Leeds City Centre. It was nice.
So Christmas is always very special for you because, of course, it's about that day.
19th of December, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And now you've got a gorgeous family as well.
We have.
And I wonder, Charlotte, what you would say, and equally, Dave, what you would say to people who found themselves in a scenario where they are overwhelmed with what is going on in their lives and they feel like they have no choice and no options.
Yeah, I would say
life can and does get better. And you just have to be here to see that. If you take your life, you're not going to ever know if it'd get better.
No.
And there's all the support lines out there, you know, there's help available. And I'd just say, just reach into people. I know I've found it really difficult in times where I've been at that point to sort of reach out because you're exhausted. You are absolutely exhausted. And I know I haven't been able to reach out. And I know there's people I can reach out to, but I don't feel like I can. So I feel like my message would be reach in. So reach into people that you care about, the loud people, the quiet people, the colleague that don't look quite right today. You know, we owe it to each other to be caring about each other enough to check in with each other.
And be compassionate. You never know what's going on in somebody else's life.
Absolutely not, no.
And what happened on that day is you were so compassionate, Dave, and it changed everything.
Yeah.
It did.
In the blink of an eye.
I just think there's something magical about that, because that decision that you could have made that you didn't because Dave was there means that there's beautiful wedding pictures, there's an amazing family. I mean, look at these gorgeous pictures. And this is something that might not have happened had Dave not been able to, you know, adjust to, in that moment, to what was going on and the support that you had around you as well.
It was brilliant, but it just goes to show, you know, you don't need any kind of specialist training to do this and to bring people out of crisis. It's just a simple conversation, and it were enough just to break it in that moment for me.
We were talking about the film rights to the story. Once you've written it, who are we casting in the roles?
Got to be Jodie Comer for me.
Excellent.
Jodie Comer, and Dave, you're going to be...
I've no idea.
By default, Tom Hardy.
Tom Hardy. I think we understand where Charlotte's coming from.
Exactly.
Thank
no
you
resemblance.
for coming in. It's been lovely to see you, and I know that you want to share your story because, you know, at this time of year it gets tough for people and to understand that there's options.
Yeah.
And there's always something. There's always somebody to talk to. Always.
Amazing. Thank you.
Lovely to meet you both.
If you've been affected by anything we've just discussed, you can find details of helplines.
Oh, hello. Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload tons of new content every single day. So hit the subscribe button, like all the videos, and don't miss out. We'll see you in the morning. We're joined now by domestic abuse survivor and Women's Aid Ambassador Alice Living, alongside equality campaigner Sherry Blair, who are both in the documentary. It's great to have you here this morning. We've been lucky enough to get an advance copy of the documentary, which is on Monday the 11th on ITV and ITVX. It's an extraordinarily powerful watch, Alice. The bravery of the contributors to that documentary can't be underestimated. You yourself have first-hand experience of domestic abuse, and at the age of 16.
Yeah, so I was only 16 when that happened to me, and I think that one of the things that's brilliant about the documentary, and I was very honoured to be asked to contribute, is that they have so many incredible women who've given their voices to that documentary that I know will help so many people. You know, the fact that the Queen is sort of heading up that incredible mission to help more women get help and to overcome abuse, I think is really important, but also to hear different stories of different experiences, knowing that abuse manifests in lots of different ways is really crucial too.
And at such a young age for you, I mean, how did it start?
So I met my partner when I was 16, obviously, really young, and sort of one of my first experiences of a relationship. So I didn't have much to go by in terms of what was healthy and what wasn't. You know, things at the start seemed great, and I think often I always use the phrase, you know, if your abuser was how they were at the end, at the start, you would obviously never get into a relationship with them. But things start great. They often use techniques like love bombing, which I know some people might be familiar with, which is where they shower you with love and affection and make you feel very special, and you kind of, you know, are lulled into maybe a false sense of security. And then things sort of very slowly and gradually became a lot worse. It became physically violent, very emotionally abusive as well. And I think that I didn't recognise at the time what I was experiencing was abuse. I had no friends to go to, and I became quite isolated from all of my support networks. Even though I was living at home, there was a deep amount of sort of fear and shame that I experienced, so I didn't feel that I could go to my parents or my friends and say, you know, I don't think what I'm experiencing is right. So for a long time, you know, it went on for just over a year, and I kind of suffered in silence until things started to happen, which became a lot worse and a lot beyond, you know, kind of beyond my capabilities of coping with.
And what was the catalyst for you changing your situation? What was that moment where you were like, I have to get out of here? Because I think that's one thing when you were talking about just then about the shame. That's what every single woman in this documentary feels. And it doesn't matter whether you're Sharon, the police officer, or it doesn't matter who you are.
Rosie,
or what,
the MP.
Yeah, what walk of life you come from. It's this deep feeling of shame and you don't want to talk to anybody.
I think you're right. And, you know, we know the stats speak for themselves. A woman will leave 7 times before she properly leaves an abusive relationship. So we know that it's a really difficult time. I think in my experience, I just felt that this was something that I couldn't cope with anymore. I wanted my life back. I'd become so isolated. I lived in a state of fear as well. I was permanently fearful. And what we do know is that when women try to leave, that can often be a trigger for an escalation of violence or of their situation. And that was definitely the case with my situation. He turned up at my school and assaulted me in the middle of the day at school. And thankfully, and I know it's an awful thing to say, but thankfully that did happen in a public place. I was able to get a conviction. I was able to get a restraining order. But that doesn't happen for so many women. So much abuse happens, you know, to use the title of the documentary, behind closed doors. Yeah. And so it becomes really difficult to spot and to prosecute and to identify.
Sherry, that statistic that we read in the introduction to the two of you last year, 2.4 million adults were victims of domestic abuse across the UK. It's estimated less than a quarter of domestic abuse crimes are being reported to the police. It's just as Alice was saying, that the shame connected to it, but also it's fascinating, Alice didn't register that it was domestic abuse for quite a long time. A lot of these people aren't really aware that actually what they're being put through is abuse.
That's absolutely true. And I think when I first started as a lawyer back in the 70s, it's quite a long time ago, there was a new change of legislation. The Labour government introduced the Domestic Violence and Matrimonial Proceedings Act. And at that time, it was about domestic violence. And it was thought of as, you know, actual physical violence. And I think a lot of people have only over the years started to realise that it's actually about control. It's about the idea, the shame, the idea of controlling a woman's behaviour, making her do things she doesn't want to do, making her feel worthless, isn't only done by actual physical violence. It can be done by economic control. It can be done by emotional control. Of course.
Mental.
It can
physical.
Be... Exactly. All those things. And what has been interesting as a matter of the development of the law is we started with domestic violence, physical violence, and we have moved on so that today we have something called coercive control, which is essentially what you started to experience, which then escalated into violence. We saw it just last week with the sentencing in the Holly Newton case. That's basically was about coercive control. And I think one of the worrying things about this is that the figures haven't really moved.
Yeah.
We're still, you know, when I started, we were talking about 1 in 4 people experiencing domestic abuse. But at that time, we were probably talking about physical abuse. I think today, because we've expanded the definition of what that means, that the 1 in 4 is obviously talking about a whole much bigger number of people.
I also think from watching the documentary, it seems as though our perception has changed, I think, a little bit, moving on from Punch and Judy and cartoons and the 50s and 60s. But maybe we haven't caught up enough yet in terms of technology and also how we actually deal with it.
I think one of the worrying things for me, looking at the documentary, is that statistic that about 23%, I think it was, of domestic abuse is suffered by girls and women between 13 and 18. Your situation.
Yeah.
And this idea that young people are experiencing this, most of that, of course, are not experiencing it from partners they're living with, but they're experiencing it with people, with young boys or men that they're having a relationship with when they're actually still living at home.
Yeah.
It's very worrying, and I think we have to ask ourselves, what are we saying to our young people, to the young boys as well as the young girls, about what healthy relationships look like? And we need to do so much more to raise awareness, but also to educate young people about what is and what is not acceptable behaviour towards each other.
I mean, it is a worry, Alice, that you've lived through this, but as Sherry was saying, the statistics haven't changed dramatically from when she first started trying to protect people in the 70s. What do you think needs to be happening? Having been at the coalface and you're now an ambassador for survivors and victims, what do you think needs to be happening?
I think education is definitely a huge part of that. You know, if we can get young girls and young boys to be taught in schools, you know, what constitutes a healthy relationship. It's not going to fix everything. I don't think that either of us believe that there is, you know, an easy fix. But I think it can start to help women identify at an earlier stage what they're experiencing. There's a brilliant part of the documentary, Jane Monckton-Smith, who details the 8 steps of kind of how abuse can escalate. A really important part. And one of the things that I think is important is helping women identify the first 1 to 4 steps. Can we catch it earlier, before it gets really serious, before it gets to that point where women maybe feel more trapped, less able to escape, knowing that those first signs of things like coercive control, gaslighting, jealousy, it's not always going to be that that's abuse, but often these things are very, very important in knowing that that's probably a sliding scale of how things are going to progress. So can we help women identify those things earlier on?
Yeah. I mean, domestic abuse...
Can I add
Yes,
something?
sorry, go, Sherry.
I think the other thing we saw in the documentary was the fact that over 60% of cases referred to the domestic violence helpline, people are being turned away because there aren't enough refuges.
Funding.
And one of the things we need to do is increase the funding so that we have more safe places for women and girls to be able to go. And by the way, there are some men who are victims as well. We shouldn't ignore that either. But it is overwhelmingly women who suffer this. So we need to do more to provide those safe spaces.
Alice, what could your family or friends have done to help you sooner? Because I don't doubt there will be people that are in a scenario where they think, I think my friend is going through this, both male and female, and I'm trying to get them to talk about it, but they don't want to or they can't. What could they have done, and what would you advise anybody watching today who may feel like they have somebody who is vulnerable to something like this?
I think it's a great question. And as you see in the documentary, even though all of the people that speak come from different walks of life, we all experience quite similar things. And I think the key thing is that kind of isolation element. If someone becomes very withdrawn from your normal relationship with them, you know, you start to notice that they're less communicative, that they're sort of becoming quite withdrawn from what might be normal for you and them. That might be something that could be, you know, something that you recognise as being potentially something that you might just say, is everything okay? You know, what's going on? I know that for myself, you become very good at hiding these things. Again, because of the shame. You know, it's not the first thing that you're going to blurt out to a friend. And also, you do live in a state of fear. So there is that element that kind of stops you from maybe seeking help in the first instance. So I think it's about just being a listening ear. And I also think it's really important for women to also, you know, correctly advocate for themselves. You know, even if it's that you don't feel confident to tell someone, write it down somewhere, log what's happening, be confident in knowing that if you've got kind of a documentation of things that are going on, that's going to really help you if you then have to, very sadly, go to the state where you're calling the police or having to report something. So I think those things are really helpful. But I think that friends and family, it does become difficult because the typical tactic is to isolate the victim. And it's just trying to recognise when someone does withdraw, is there something going on that you might need to just push further to try and get into?
Well, the great thing is that you are opening up these lines of communication, because that's the big thing I took from it, is it's so manipulative and they try and kind of close you off. So thank you for coming on the show, and thank you for talking about it, and thank you so much as well.
I just say one thing. Make sure your boys watch this programme as well, and your husbands and all the men, because actually this is not an issue that only women should be
Patrick
talking about.
Stewart was like, absolutely, it's the same.
It's valuable
Thank
for
you very
everybody.
much.
Her Majesty the Queen Behind Closed Doors airs on ITV1 and ITVX on Monday, November the 11th at 9 p.m. Thank you both.
Thank you.
Oh, hello. Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload tons of new content every single day. So hit the subscribe button, like all the videos, and don't miss out. We'll see you in the morning.
Because our next guest burst onto the comedy scene in 2009 and quickly became a household name with her beloved sitcom Miranda.
But for the last decade, she has taken herself out of the spotlight following a private health battle.
But it's not all doom and gloom. No, it's not. As the star announced, she's recently married the love of her life at the age of 51.
And newlywed is with us now. Congratulations!
Oh, congratulations. So happy for you.
I can do all that.
You put a ring on it?
Yeah.
No, you can't do that now because you're not single.
Oh, yeah.
You're not a single lady.
Okay, fine.
But you can go like that.
It's quite fun. No one really cares, but you just go.
You care. Congratulations.
Oh, look at you holding my book up.
Look at
Thanks.
it.
Yeah.
That's the money shot.
It's like jazz hand moment with it, isn't it? I like that. Thanks.
How did it feel when you actually saw it for the first time? It was like, oh my gosh.
Quite emotional, actually.
Really?
Well, just because the story is, you know, a decade of not all fun.
Yeah.
So it was like there was my difficult time in a book as well, and just to have done the research for it. So, yeah, I had a little weep.
When did you decide to put pen to paper about the last decade?
Well, I started researching for myself to start with when I didn't get a diagnosis and felt rubbish and couldn't work anymore. I collapsed on the floor with fatigue and just wasn't getting any answers. So I thought, OK, I need to research and go, there's this whole wellbeing industry out there. What is actually true? What is science? What could actually help me feel
Did you find the
better?
answers?
And I feel like I found the answers, not necessarily to recovery from disease. I'm not saying that, gosh, no, but to live with chronic illness and how I just needed to know how to do the next 10 minutes, basically.
Yeah.
And so I couldn't go, I couldn't do an ice plunge. I couldn't go to a chalet break in Norway and have hashtag self-care weekend. So I was like, what are the treasures? What are the keys? And so once I researched that for myself, I felt like I can't not share this.
Yeah.
So I did in my book, What's Out Now.
So how long did it take to write it, and when did you?
Well, years, really. The research took a good 6-7 years. And then when I got my diagnosis a few years ago, I then sort of amended my story a bit. And then I met my now husband and thought, I've got to put a little bit of the love story in it. So it just sort of took a while.
Yeah.
So just let's go back a little bit and remind me of the diagnosis, because, I mean, it was probably about the age of 15 when you felt like something infected you.
Yeah. I got a bug that felt like flu when I was about 14, 15, when I lived in America. My father was working out there. And then since then, I just never felt well. I joined the dots now, but I never felt well since I was about 15. I had really weird neurological symptoms. I felt dizzy, sort of double vision, just loads of really weird things. Just felt like I had flu all the time. Yeah. And then over a lifetime, when we all experience difficulties and then we get ill, even a cold, my immune system just couldn't cope with it. I was just more and more and more run down. And each day was like wading through treacle. So eventually I found out that it would have been Lyme disease that I got then, but it was just not an acute version of it. And so it was reactivated constantly in the body. Any other virus I got just accumulated. My immune system was disordered. So you then end up with a kind of ME picture, a fatigue-based condition.
Which is hard enough when you are just on a day-to-day basis. But when suddenly you write the sitcom and you hit gold and you're working every day, the God sends, that must have been so debilitating, because like you've got to get out of bed every day and do it, right? And then it's not just filming it, you've got to write it, then they've got to pressure to programming it, and then all the other opportunities come when it's a success.
Yeah, by then, I mean, sort of sadly in a way, I kind of got used to getting up, feeling rough and just going, just got to keep going, because no one was saying what was wrong or how to manage it. So I was used to being really strong and brave and just keeping it to myself and keeping going. But the sadness for me was that looking back, I didn't really enjoy it.
Yeah.
Like I'd often be in rehearsals and I'd look at a glass of water and think, I can't find the energy to get my arm to lift.
Gosh.
That's what fatigue is like, which I share not for sort of self-pity or woe is me at all, but just for all the millions, sadly, living with fatigue-based conditions. Because we all get tired, right? So when you say fatigue, you think, no, it's literally I don't know how to move. So I feel sad couldn't really enjoy it. But I managed it all right.
Did you talk about it to anybody?
Not
did your
really.
friends and family know?
No, because when you're sort of just keeping on, which I think so many of us do with long-term conditions, whether that's a difficult relationship, whether it's whatever, you feel like you get into that, I suppose, quite English way of I mustn't keep complaining, or you don't know how to ask for help as well, because you don't know what you're asking for help for.
Yeah.
And if you say to someone, I don't feel like I can pick up my glass, you think you're going to sound like a diva, or they're going to like, you what? Just have a drink, love.
Yeah.
It's mad, isn't it?
So you get stuck, yeah.
Because the dial has shifted so much with so many things in the last 10, 15 years, you know, on the right side of progress. You don't feel like this is particularly talked about even now. You know, this is a very valuable book in many ways.
Oh, thanks.
Just to have the conversation, because there must be so many people out there.
Yeah, and also I think it applies... I mean, obviously what I went through was a chronic illness, but I think it applies... I've had loads of friends saying to me, gosh, this really resonates. There's little things like how often we say sorry and how all these little things, micro things that are exhausting, or just what vulnerability actually is. I thought I was quite good at vulnerable because, you know, I was a silly creative and kind of happy to fart in public, whatever. Isn't that being vulnerable? Turns out that's part of me, but I was terrible at asking for help.
Yeah.
I just didn't know how to do it. I was like brought up with you're independent and strong, you do it yourself, you want a job done, get it done yourself, you know, all that sort of thing. So learning to be really fragile and go, oh, that is part of what being a human is. Also, I still think we're not brilliant at that.
No.
Yeah.
Also,
and
who,
so that's
who to
really,
ask as well, right?
Who to ask, who's your trusted people, how many... I was then a terrible oversharer. I'd then tell everyone, go, no, that's not right. So it took a lot of... So that's sort of what the book is, was how to be more honestly myself. So I can be the comedian and the silly one and the oversharer and the windbreaker.
Yeah.
But now I can now I can also be vulnerable and honest and have a little weep and go, actually, do you know, I'm just a really highly sensitive person. I need this much sleep. I don't like socialising very often. This is me.
Yeah.
And it feels amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so happy for you, honestly. And the fact that you are so vulnerable in the book is going to help so many people. But that is thanks to Selena Gomez, isn't it, a little bit? The fact that she shared...
Well, so it's mainly about me.
It's her to thank, though, isn't it?
Well, I went through a moment of going, I don't think I can put that, I just don't feel strong enough to be vulnerable to put that out there. Does anyone really want this? But is it going to help? I had a real wobble. Watched Selena's documentary, and she's been through so much, and obviously a fame at such a young age and all her health problems. And her documentary, I was just like, I was weeping going, I feel heard. So if one person can read it and go, I've felt fatigued since I was 15 too, then...
And before we let you go, you're watching Strictly. How's she doing, Sarah?
Oh, my God, I'm obsessed, my friend.
I'm loving all the advice you're giving her.
Yeah, I'm head choreographer. Vito has given in and realises that he needs to listen to me. So I'm head choreographer.
You do a Monday morning routine.
I'm also not doing a book tour. I'm campaign trail. Come on, Hadders.
Come on, Hadders.
She actually gave you some advice for being on this morning. So here's Sarah with a little bit of advice. Here you go.
Hi, Miranda. We want to thank you so much for all your advice and all your tips.
However, now you're on this morning, and we've just done it now, and I'm just going to give you this really heartfelt advice. Just be yourself.
Because you are amazing.
Be yourself.
Be yourself, and we love you.
Be yourself.
Be yourself,
Miranda. I mean, they ran that home, didn't they? I think they got stuck on be yourself. Yeah, well, that's what the book is. It's how to honestly be yourself.
Well, there is the book. I haven't been entirely honest with you. But what I want to know is, what have you done today to make you feel proud?
Loving your work.
You wrote a book.
Yeah, I done a book.
It's quite a lot.
And sat here and chatted to you, which is a great privilege.
Thanks.
Now, you are staying for the phone-in, aren't you, Miranda?
Well, I'm staying for anything you want.
Thank you so much for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every single day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you in the morning.
That is time now to meet some social media superheroes.
Yeah, so our next guests have gone viral. They gained millions of views for using their unique powers and their pure-of-heart generosity to bring an extra sparkle to their communities.
Liam Wildish is a former window cleaner who spends his spare time sprucing up road signs in his local area.
Look at that lovely spick and span. B. Elton is a self-taught cleaning influencer who transforms strangers' homes free of charge. What a lovely thing to do.
And Alfie Cookson found fame for offering odd job services on his tandem push bike. Welcome to the show, all three of you.
You guys,
I've got to say one thing before on.
Darling.
You two, wrong trade. You should be singers.
Do you think?
Complete wrong trade.
Oh, thanks. Thank you so much.
When did you
hear us singing when we said, what have you done today to make it free?
I wasn't even on set. I could hear you from below.
Stop
you don't
it.
make us feel proud.
Stop it, Alfie.
Liam,
Right,
we're going to
listen.
start with you. Liam Wildish, a.k.a. The Sign Guy. How did you get into this? Tell us your story.
Well, the background started really. I used to have a window cleaning business. Obviously, I had one of the extendable brush thingies that you've probably all seen.
Yeah.
My mum actually pointed out a really dirty road sign one day, and just by chance I said, I wonder if you can clean that with the brush. So I did. I cleaned it, and it came out like brand new underneath. The sign was in pristine condition. You couldn't read it. It was like just like a green circle that said nothing. So we cleaned it, and then I posted it onto the community Facebook page just to sort of show everybody what I'd done. I did a few more signs. And the response was just insane. It went viral, and that sort of led to now evolving into the ASMR satisfying videos
really
of cleaning the sign.
The whole going viral thing has happened to all three of you. That's fascinating. How that, and it's so good by luck or chance or serendipity, isn't it? Just how that
crazy,
one person sees it and then the next thing you know.
Yeah, it really snowballs.
What does the community say? Because it is something really nice for the community. I mean, sometimes there's signs that you can't even read.
Yeah.
You can't even read, and it does genuinely help people. I'll be honest with you, I looked at your Instagram last night. You have to watch the video to the very end. You can't help but watch it all. It does catch you, doesn't it?
It's a hook, it works.
What's the community saying? Because you're doing this for free. You're not doing it for anything other than to help, aren't you?
That's probably one of my favourite things about it, is it's the positive sort of community that it's built around my channel. So, and obviously social media is a very controversial place. There's all sorts going on. With mine, because of the sort of the deed that it is, the community, when they comment and things like that, it's just always positivity,
It's lovely.
It's lovely. You do feel, it's that thing where, like, it's almost like when you give a gift. Most people, I think, get more excited when they give a gift rather than when they receive a gift.
Yeah.
When you put thought into something and give it, and when they open, it's a similar hit to that, I guess, in a weird way, isn't it?
You get, like, good karma. That's the best way I can describe it. If anyone asks, like, how do you feel about the Sign Guy channel? It's like, I've always had good karma when I've done this.
Yeah.
I think it's making a little bit of a difference, and then good things seem to come from good deeds.
Also, just finishing the job makes you feel good, doesn't it?
So true.
Exactly. When you drive down the road now, I clean that.
Did you have to stop for a while because you had a bit of an injury as well?
Yeah, unfortunately. So that's how I'm no longer a window cleaner anymore.
What happened?
I had a shoulder reconstruction, which I wouldn't wish that on anybody. That's not fun. So that saw me out of sort of window cleaning and sign cleaning for quite a while.
Oh.
And then I was just talking to a friend of mine who does social media about a year ago, and we just spoke about it, and he says, you should do the sign cleaning thing. People probably enjoy watching it.
And they love it.
So I did, and it hit 250,000 followers pretty fast,
Do the council or the highways agency, any people, have they been in touch with you? Are they all right about it, or are they kind of,
it's kind of
grateful, or...?
I think grateful, yeah. It's kind of an unspoken thing, really. We've never actually sort of discussed it in detail, but I can't see why they would have a problem.
I don't imagine there's a department that does this, right?
I mean,
or if they do, they're probably overworked and stretched and stuff.
Funnily enough, this sign, I actually saw this sign. When I was driving towards it, I thought it was one of the black LED signs that would light up as a...
Yeah.
It was that dirty.
And then when I got next to it, I was like, that's actually filthy.
It's like the sign chooses you, Liam.
Mate, it's a sign.
Unbelievable. It's a sign. It's a sign.
My grandma's got bad eyes, and seeing that, she'd even struggle more. Oh, exactly. Yeah.
It's lovely that you're doing something of service, and you're doing something of service at the moment. And this all started when you bought a flat that was in really bad condition.
Yeah.
Tell us about what happened.
So I rented a flat, and it was like the first flat that I'd ever rented when I came to London. With like 2 other people, and it was just awful. Like black mold everywhere, holes in the floor, mice everywhere, fly infestation. It was just everything that you could. It was bad, and we kind of told the landlord time and time again.
They weren't doing it.
It just didn't care. Couldn't care less.
So this was a situation where you either leave that flat or you say, right, this is my flat. I need to make this wonderful.
Yeah.
And you actually did, didn't you? And you recorded it.
Yeah.
And what happened?
I mean, people started watching it, and then I think the biggest thing that blew me away was how many people would say, my rental flat also looks like this, and I don't know how to deal with it, or are you able to redecorate like that, or can you do that? How do you get rid of mold? And it kind of grew from there to be like, oh, actually, I can start also doing it for other people too. So it's been kind of like a roll-on effect that was never planned, but I'm very happy with how it's going and how it's turned out.
It kind of highlights 2 things as well. First, like, your generosity, but also how bad some of these landlords are, and hopefully you can highlight that. I mean, that's disgusting.
Yeah, I think
landlord would let that happen.
It's definitely, like, helped to spread awareness, but I also think for a lot of renters and people in social housing, people that are just not happy with the conditions that they're living in, sometimes it is really comforting to know that there's other people out there, because it's not like you
There's
really...
a way out as well.
Yeah, especially with social media. I don't think people really show the ugly sides of their homes or the not pretty sides. So, and for someone in that position where they're looking around seeing black mould, they're thinking, oh, it's just me. Or, you know, so I think that's nice as well.
And you are offering this service out to other people.
Yeah.
How many people applied for you to come out?
Oh, we've got like well over 2,000 and we get more and more every day.
So what's your criteria onto deciding, right, you're going to get something for free here?
So because there's so many people and it's just me, basically, and my partner, Harry, who also helps on the cleans, we've had to prioritise it for people in the most needy situations. I also will always have a soft spot for anyone with mental health issues, disabilities, the elderly, people with young children, especially if it's young children and there's black mould or something like that. And then we kind of categorise it, but everyone's story is different and everyone's home is different, so...
You need a team, B. You need a team of people who are going to come and help you, because it's a lot, isn't it? It's a lot for you to even decide who gets it and who doesn't.
The admin takes a long time, but also, like, on the clean and the editing. Yeah, I've had a lot of people, like probably a few hundred people saying, like, I'll happily volunteer and help, which is, again, like,
hopefully you can mobilise that in the
community.
future and this can help.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Alfie, let's move on to you. It's all about odd jobs for you. How'd you get into the odd job trade?
Oh,
and how did this come about?
it's a long story, honestly. I didn't mean to even fall into it. So I bought my tandem bike quite a while ago.
Yeah.
Just because it looked appropriate, well, in my mind.
Yeah.
But I went in for a dirt bike.
Yeah.
All my mates bought these dirt bikes. Right, I'm going to go and get a nice dirt bike, come out with a tandem. Bought it for 2 pigs and a billy goat.
Yeah.
And it's never let me down.
It's never let
me down.
And it keeps you fit as well.
Look at the size of these calves here.
Lovely calves.
Now, get this on your TV screen. You look at them badges. Get them badges.
Let me stretch them out.
But yeah, no, it's kind of just, like, with the community and stuff, I never really started for that. I just fell in with it, you know, it's part of it. But no, it's great. I love it. It's great.
And you're good at any odd job you can do.
I can even sing.
You can even sing.
The statue is beautiful.
And that was your first job, wasn't it?
That's what set it off, that, because he's lone soldier. And I thought, coming up with, like, this was like 5 years ago, on Remembrance Day, and I thought, I can't have him stood there with bird, you know, on the back of his neck. So I got my 3-piece ladders, went up and cleaned it.
That was your very first job that you did?
That's what set it off.
And then
community kind of thing, and I started, like, doing, like, the signs, like, yourself and phone boxes and all that. But the thing is, if you get a minute, please come in my room. It's a right mess, honestly.
You can do it.
I know, you're joking. I just can't get, you know, I clean everything else, but not my room.
What's so lovely about you, though, is that anybody who's over 80, they get it for free.
Yeah,
they get any odd jobs or anything.
If they're 79 and they're just a day soon, I won't give it them. I'm that type. You know.
They have to be 80.
That's principle. You've got to be 80, you know what I mean?
And they've got to show us your birth certificate.
And you need a Zimmer frame and sing George Formby. That's how old you've got to be. But, no.
Absolutely brilliant.
The three of you are such a tonic.
Why do you think everyone enjoys all your videos so much? What would you put it down to?
I feel like people need to... I feel like we've got the platform to influence people, you know what I mean? And we've got...
I'd agree with that.
Yeah, you know what I mean? I feel like if I just do a bit, I'll get messages all the time from young people saying, oh, I've got a tandem now, doing odd jobs. And also with, like, I've got ADHD, and having to be able to, like, speak about that awarenessly, like, I get a lot of mums saying, oh, you've given me, like, great joy, because my son's got ADHD, and you've made me feel like, oh, he's actually got a bit of lease of life, you know. People see it as a bad thing, but for me, it's my superpower. It's what makes who I am.
Oh, it's lovely. I feel like you're an older man in a young body.
Well, I dress like my granddad. So, yeah, I won't say where for him.
You own it.
And for some reason, it's not a fetish, but I knock around in old people's homes a lot. So, and sing George Formby to him. Cleaning windows to earn an honest job. For an Aussie Parker, it's an interesting job. So, yeah, love it.
Alfie, you're an absolute star. B and Liam, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you. Spreading a bit of love and providing a service to others. It's
thank you so much for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every single day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you in the morning. That is the film that brought us to horror, Hysteria. Incredible movie. Head-spinning moment none of us will forget. 50 years since The Exorcist hit the cinemas. We're joined by someone who knows a thing or two about hunting spirits.
Yeah, on the surface, Reverend Jason Bray is your ordinary Anglican vicar, leading christenings, weddings and funerals. But for the last 27 years, he's also been hired to hunt down demons as a real-life exorcist.
And he's joining us now on the spookiest day of the year. Morning, Reverend.
Morning, Reverend.
Hi.
Thank you for joining us.
No, thanks for asking me on. I'm thrilled to be here. Wow.
Thanks for being part of this.
So,
are you quite
only
impressed?
person not in costume, but brought the hats.
There we go. You're in. You should wear that
it.
all the time, by the way. You look great.
I wear that quite a lot of the time.
So, talk us through this. Your day job is working as a dean.
Yeah, so I'm the Dean of Llandaff Cathedral in Cardiff. So, sort of slightly weirdly, the cathedral in Cardiff is sort of at the edge of the city, and it's like sort of walking into a sort of medieval film set, really. You know, you sort of walk in, and it's just different, and the cathedral's at the bottom of the hill, and it's a stunning place to go.
Yeah.
And so that's my day job, and basically I run it, and lots of meetings, lots of lots of meeting people, lots of meeting tourists as well. So we get a few of those, do some more.
Yeah.
And lots of services as well. It's a cathedral, so we have a fantastic choir. They sing pretty much every evening, and then lots of other things going on as well.
It's a busy job, right?
It's a really busy job.
Job. It sounds incredible. So how did you fall into this? Did you have a moment with a particular spirit yourself?
Yeah, so when I was first ordained 27 years ago, we lived in a house that was, basically get allocated a house.
Yeah.
So we saw the house first. It was in January, so it was cold and it was dark and it had been empty for a while. We thought it was just a cold, dark house. And it never got warm and it never really got light. So we moved in June and it just stayed that way.
It didn't feel right.
Yeah, it just didn't feel right. In fact, it was really cold in some places. So a couple of months after we were there, our first son was born, Tom. And we got this sort of nursery for him. And his room seemed to be colder than any other.
Which is always more acute when it's a nursery, isn't it? You sort of notice it a bit more.
Yeah, you sort of notice it. And you think, well, is it because it's got two external walls?
Yeah.
Is it bled the radiators, turned the thermostat up? Nothing seemed to work. And it just stayed that way. And, in fact, it seemed to sort of get worse. Okay, went into the winter and then came out of the winter, thought it'll just warm up in the summer, and it didn't. And then two things happened. So I went off on a course for a couple of days, and I came back, and my wife, Laura, really not impressionable at all. And she said, there's something really odd about this house. She said, because, it was cold in Tom's room. She said, well, it was so cold when I went to, when I went into the room because he was crying, it was like walking into a freezer. She said it was that cold. Not making it up, she said I had to have him in bed with me, and I think there's something really odd about this house. And then I had a sort of weird experience myself.
Yeah.
So I was reading in bed, went to the toilet, and sort of came out the bathroom door, and I didn't see anything, to be honest, but there was like this sort of impression of somebody standing on the other side of the door, about my height, grey eyes, and with like a sort of mask on, a bit like most of the people around here today. But with this sort of big, big wooden mask. And was just sort of staring at me with unbridled hostility through the door.
Wow.
What on earth is going on? So, just sort of plucked up the courage and opened the bathroom door. Nothing there. Threw myself under the duvet, and Laura said, "Well, are you all right? You look like you've seen a ghost." I said, "Well, I haven't seen anything, but." So she said, "Well, get your boss in." So my boss, the vicar, came round and he splashed holy water around the place. He said a couple of prayers. We said the Lord's Prayer together. And the house sort of just returned to the way it should have been. It sort of lifted it, and it was sort of warm, and it was comfortable, and it was a nice place to be. A couple of things happened afterwards. I had a conversation with somebody who said when they were building the house, they disturbed a Roman graveyard.
Right, okay.
And so...
I bet that must have been a nice, relaxing chat for you.
Yeah, so, the house is all right by then. And that's
Jason,
how I got into it.
So when you... It's going to sound weird, because you're a man of the cloth, so therefore... there is a leap of faith involved in everything that you talk about and everything,
Yeah.
So, but at the same time, when you're telling your fellow kind of lay preachers and clergymen and so forth, is there scepticism from them?
Yeah, some of them, Yeah, some of them don't really believe in it.
Yeah.
Some of them think it's a whole load of rubbish. Some of them don't want to go anywhere near it at all for whatever reason.
Yeah.
So every time we get called out, we speak to the local vicar, and you just get this sort of, oh, no, you deal with it. Don't want to, don't want to go anywhere near this.
So
Thank
what
you very much.
happens? And so in terms of the training, what happens? We haven't got that long, but what happens and what the tools of the trade?
Right,
can you
okay.
show us?
Right, tools of the trade.
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
so
It's like a little doctor, isn't it? Look at this.
Doctor, yeah, hey. So I've got various bits and pieces. That is a stole that I wear around my neck.
Yes.
When I'm doing these things.
So you'll go into someone's house.
Go into somebody's house.
You'll put that on.
Yeah, we have a conversation. Try to work out what's going on.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it can be, it can be them. Sometimes it can be because there's, for want of a better word, a sort of ghost or a presence or something like that. Sometimes it can be because, they've got some sort of condition or they're on medication that makes them see things or whatever. But we always have a conversation. And then I usually bless the house. So I've got this spectacular thing. It's a holy water sprinkler. Basically...
sprinkle that around?
Yeah. So
you bless that yourself?
Yeah, bless that myself.
Yeah, bless the studio if you want.
Go on.
Go on. I don't. Oh, can you not just do
Too many
like that?
spirits here to exercise.
Too many spirits here to exercise.
Don't say
that. So I've got a holy water bottle, so I sort of carry that with me and then bless it at the time. So there's that. That's really important. And then if there's, maybe on the second visit, if you have to go back and it hasn't settled, we celebrate the Eucharist, communion, mass, whatever you want.
Do the whole thing.
Yeah.
So all the bells and spells.
So with the not necessarily. But,
do you know what? I'd like to do this when I'm moving into any house. Do you know what I mean? I think it'd be a good thing to do
we
just to
do
move
get
into
it.
the house.
We do that. Yeah, we do that sometimes. So sometimes people will say, actually, just moving into a new house.
Just want to make sure everything's all right.
Clean kind of thing.
Yeah. It's just, it's a nice thing to do, actually.
It really is.
So, and, from a Christian priest point of view, what we're doing is sort of bringing the love of God into that situation. Wherever it is.
And I guess even if, like you said, some people are ill and some people have, the medication, it just gives people a bit of calm and a bit of kind of serenity, I suppose.
Yeah, and, you could say that a lot of what we do is actually bringing reassurance.
Yeah.
So people are always frightened. When they get in touch with us, they're always frightened and they're always we just sort of say, actually, we're here to help.
But Chase, before we let you go, you've never seen The Exorcist?
I've never seen... No, I've still never seen it.
It's such a good film.
It's too frightening. I'm not into horror films at all.
No, I'm not into horror films at all. My son has watched them all and he's the expert.
No, don't watch it.
No, still never seen The Exorcist.
Well, you wear the hat well anyway, so...
Yeah.
Thank you, Reverend.
Reverend, thank you so much for joining us today.
No.
Really appreciate it.
It's been a pleasure.
And please do bless the studio later.
Yeah, feel free to bless. Hi, everyone. Just wanted to say thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. Now, listen, we upload new content every day. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out. And we'll see you in the morning.
And Sabrina joins us now. Morning, Sabrina.
Good morning.
This story, Sabrina, is incredible. So first things first, tell us about this new documentary, Prince William, Weekend End Homelessness, and how you got involved in it.
Oh, do you know, I'm so excited about this. The documentary focuses on the first year of his new programme, Homewards. And the aim of Homewards is to try to make homelessness brief, rare and unrepeated. And I was approached by the Prince's team to become an advocate. And the point about being an advocate is he wanted people with lived experience of homelessness to help to advise him. And I experienced homelessness when I was a teenager.
Yeah.
And as part of this, we were set a task and he asked us to go out and try and find solutions, things that are out there that work to help to end homelessness. And so in the documentary, I go and I meet a couple of people and a couple of projects that have been really, really working well. And I'm able to take them then to the Prince so that he can see for himself what's out there that works.
Work on the ground, yeah.
Sabrina, you are the advisor to the future king. What is that like working with him? What's he like to work with?
Oh, he's amazing. And I'm one of several advocates and we've all got our own experience of homelessness or be touched by homelessness in some way. And one of the things that he was really keen on is making sure that he's listening to people who've been there so that we can try and do things that are really practical. And every time I've met the Prince, he has been so focused on the human impact of homelessness. And I think it's really easy when you're trying to do a programme as big as this and a challenge as big as ending homelessness to just focus on the strategy and forget about the people.
Yeah.
But he's so focused on the trauma and the complexity and the impact on individuals. And that, for me, has been a real privilege to be able to see that in action.
It is interesting, isn't it? Because I worked with him on Earthshot, and it's both hard to not drink the Kool-Aid, but really important not to drink the Kool-Aid. Because actually, it's easy for us to go, well, he's just a big privileged guy sat in a palace, right? And part of that is true. But what impressed me about him was that, like, he's aware of that privilege, and he doesn't mind getting his hands dirty, and you know, he's aware of the kind of the double standard and all of this. But at the same time, he wants to do something about it and use his voice for it.
Yeah, and what would you rather?
Right.
As a monarch, he's using his platform to convene people, to challenge a social problem. That's amazing. I'm really, really proud to be able to say that we can be a part of that.
Can we rewind a little bit to the age of 15? I know your daughter's the same age right now.
Frighteningly,
She's 15.
yeah.
And you've given her such an incredible life that she hasn't gone through the life that you had to lead. Take me back to when you was 15. I know you'd sadly your father passed away when you were a lot younger.
Yeah.
What were the circumstances that led to you becoming homeless?
It's circumstances that many people, I'm sure, will recognise. I grew up in a single-parent household. We lived in poverty. And my mum really struggled with her mental health. And one thing I always say is that if someone goes to war with their demons, it's everyone around them that gets hit by the shrapnel. And that was absolutely the case for us. And by the time I was 15, nearly 16, to be honest, it was too much. It was too volatile. It was too hard. And I ended up sleeping rough on the streets of Newport, which, of course, is one of the homewards areas that the programme focuses on. It was really hard. I would sleep in shop doorways. I'd sleep in derelict buildings, anywhere where I could find, really. And in truth, there were glimpses of kindness from people, but I've been punched and kicked and spat at.
Really?
The cruelest of things. It was really, really difficult. But one of the things for me that's really exciting about Homewards, and we touch on it in the documentary, some of the people that looked after me the most and gave me the most compassion at that time were a demographic that people would recognise and as an entrenched rough sleeper, usually an older guy, 50s, 60s maybe, and it's the kind of person that might have been rough sleeping for ages that everyone's kind of written off. People would cross the road to avoid them, but they really, really helped me. And in the documentary, we're able to touch on that and look at programmes that focus on those entrenched rough sleepers.
That's unbelievable.
How did you turn it round? Because you were still at school, so you were literally hiding your backpack, going to sleep, going to school, coming back, sleeping in wherever you could sleep.
Studying as well.
Yeah. And then you got a job selling Big Issue, which is obviously an incredible institution, a magazine. And then did that give you the foothold to be able to get yourself out of that?
Yeah, it did. I was terrified of going into care. We had a social worker, and when you grow up in an environment like that, you kind of see any kind of authority through a lens of mistrust.
Yeah.
I thought it would be like some kind of Dickensian workhouse, and I wanted to avoid it. So I carried on going to school and tried to pretend that everything was okay. Selling the Big Issue was a real turning point for me, though, because I don't know if people know, but when you see people selling the Big Issue, they've already bought those magazines. So it's like you buy in your stock and you sell it on for a profit. And that, for me, gave me an ability to try to earn something. And eventually, I was able to put down a deposit on a very cheap rented flat in the South Wales Valleys, away from where I was. I had a couple of false starts, including a bit of time living in a van. It's not as easy as just having a roof over your head. There is a real recovery from homelessness, and it wraps up your sense of identity. You don't know who to trust. You have had such difficult experiences that you take that on board as part of your lens and how you see yourself. And unpacking that, it's really tricky. I mean, it took me nearly 20 years to start talking about my experience. There's that stigma. And I hope that some of the work that we can do with Homewards can reframe the narrative around homelessness. So hopefully we can break down that stigma and the recovery from homelessness won't be so difficult for other people.
Why did you struggle to talk about it? Was it the shame of being homeless? Is that the reason? Because I know you wrote a book, didn't you?
I did, yeah. And being really kind of open about that was important to me because it's something that I'd hidden for so long.
Yeah.
But I think I was afraid that people would judge me, and God forbid I was afraid people might pity me, which was even worse than the judgment. But, you know, it's exhausting hiding a really big part of yourself. As, you know, many people have done with other factors of their lives. It's really difficult. So, you know, people would kind of ask questions about growing up and I'd kind of, you know, just shelve it off and change the subject. But I always felt that kind of sicky feeling in the pit of my stomach. And one of the things that I heard, which is so true, is poverty isn't something that you can wash from your skin. It's really not. And it's something that you carry with you. So when I joined the fire service, and there are, you know, all these kind of amazing people who kind of always knew what to do and say, I always felt less than. So it was quite a tough environment to go into when you have something that makes you feel so vulnerable. But you know, since opening up about it, there are a number of firefighters who've got in touch with me to say that they've experienced homelessness as well. And they're now in the fire service, no one would know. And I promise you, there are more people out there who've been touched by homelessness in some way than we give each other credit for. And I do think it's time to start talking about it.
Sabrina, what would a future without homelessness look like? How, I mean, you know, I was reading the notes, you touched on the Finnish model a little bit, and what they're doing in Finland. So can you explain what would you do if you were given a carte blanche?
Yeah, and I think it's going to be different in different locations. And that's the point with Homewards, is we've got a number of target locations so that we can look at what works. But for me, what I've seen working in the sector, the most beneficial is a real individual, tailored approach. It's really difficult with a finite amount of resources out there to be able to make sure that you're getting the resources in the right places to do the right things. And like I said, it's not as simple as just a roof over your head. There are so many complexities around recovering from homelessness. And one of the things that we did find that worked really well, that I could imagine that kind of approach really helping to unpack this problem, was Housing First. And the point about that is they put someone in a house first, and you are allowed to fail.
Yeah.
People can fail if they have a drug habit. In other schemes, if you fall and you end up going back on drugs, then you're kind of out of the programme, or you might lose your housing. With Housing First, they say, no, this is your secure base first. And they wrap that support around the individual for everything that they might need, helping them to get registered with a doctor again. Absolutely, everything that you might need. And just that permission to fail and that support to know that you're going to get back up again and there's going to be someone there, that for me is a real kind of pinnacle of what success could look like.
Well, you're the pinnacle of success as far as I'm concerned. Thank you so much for joining us.
One more question, I'm a bit over.
Inspiration.
What do you want people to take from this when they watch this doc? So, you know, you've had this incredible experience. So people that haven't, most people haven't, they'll be watching at home. What do you want them to take from it?
I really want them to see homelessness as an experience and not as an identity.
Yeah.
And I really think that will help us to break down some of the stigma around it.
Yeah.
But please see the value in people. It's so easy to write someone off because it looks like they're stuck in that life and it's too entrenched and someone's too far gone. Nobody's too far gone. Everybody has value.
Yeah.
So I hope they just think about it differently.
And it can happen to anybody.
It really can.
Sabrina, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every single day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button and we'll see you in the morning. Be enough to tame the two Yorkshire pudding monsters who have risen from their plates at the Saxon King pub in Southend. We are about to find out.
Here we go.
They played them all.
It
was a great
Okay, guys, hi there. Can you see? Yeah. Let me bring you round. Hey, hey, darling. Oh, you're very greasy, aren't you? Come over here.
Pretty and sweet.
There you go, darling. There's a little seat there if you want to sit down. You can take your masks off. Are you okay? Take your masks off.
Guys, looking good.
Oh, wonderful.
Hey.
Oh,
it's
my goodness.
Babylando, James Pally and his son Aaron. Hey, guys. Well done, lads.
Thank you so much for doing that. Look at this, so much work has gone into this. How long does it take to make these outfits, James? How long would it take?
Hours.
Really?
When did you start doing it, James?
Well, started off, God, what would it be, 4 o'clock Saturday morning.
Oh, as in for this iteration, it's 4 o'clock
Yeah,
morning.
but we had a bit of an issue last night because we put the last bits out to dry and the foxes got them.
Oh, you're joking.
So these are still a bit sticky and not quite set.
So I see on your shirt.
Can I just say,
Fox is having a field day.
You've literally left a
Oh, we've left
trail,
a trail.
of Yorkshire pudding
It's Hansel and Gretel.
right behind
It's
you.
Hansel and Gretel.
Yeah.
We need to get the foxes in here.
Yeah.
So where did the idea come from? Where's the origins of your Yorkshire pudding?
Oh, well, 10 years ago, Aaron's older brother, we had loaves left over one day. So we said, we'd always sort of joked about he'd be running around with a cape on. So we said, oh, we'll turn it into a superhero.
Oh, that's so nice.
So we did.
How much fun do you have doing this?
It's a lot of fun, but it's also a lot of work. But it's like cool to like dress up in all of it and.
Is it quite hot in there as well?
No, it's actually quite cold.
Is it?
It's really cold.
His body's going into shock. There's so much sugar on him.
So once you've made it, how long does it roughly, can it last for?
It's coated with lacquer and PVA and glued on with gummy bears.
So
Half one last night, I'm driving around Essex, buying up as many gummy bears as I can find just to redo it after the fox has got.
So are you going to use this for Halloween then?
Yeah.
This outfit?
1 million.
It's going to get
1 million.
Is that what you do every year? Is that what
Yeah.
it's for? It's a Halloween thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so
Yeah,
nice.
the costume.
So how does it go down in the pub? Does the regulars love it?
It's everybody. We had a message from Sweden from a girl that went to America with years ago when I came to America, and it's gone to Sweden, and she said that her daughter wants to dress up as a pudding at Halloween. Thanks very much.
What's the best thing? Do you like Yorkshire puddings, Aaron?
I love Yorkshire
I
puddings.
do as well. Are you up for trying some of our Yorkshire puddings here?
Yes. They look
Because-
scrumptious.
So I've made one set of Yorkshire puddings, and so has Dermot. And you are actually judging these on... What are you judging them on?
You're judging them on taste, texture and rise, I think.
And rise. So have a little bit of a taste as you're sitting here. We'll carry on talking to you. But should we put your head down?
Okay, yeah.
All right, let's
I'll
put your head down on the floor. There you go. There you go. Have a little taste and
like a Yorkshire
just
pudding?
decide which one. You need one of each.
One of each.
So there's that one and that one. There you go.
There you go.
And you
so
get
let's
involved.
look at. So you're judging them on taste,
Rise.
texture. So rise first.
I probably this
Right,
one's more.
that one.
Oh no! There's not much rising going on there.
Oh, which one did you? Where's the other one?
Oh, it's there. I
This
couldn't
one, you need
reach
this
it.
one.
Yeah.
Which one are you going to go for, rise?
This one.
Far
yeah.
one.
Okay, that's
Oh, yeah,
mine, isn't it?
interesting. Yeah.
Okay, but
That's
texture,
Dermot's.
especially you have to break them up to texture.
This
don't
one.
They're very doughy.
Oh,
This
God.
one's softer though. I like this one.
Texture.
That one.
Oh,
That
Dermot's like you've won on texturing.
Yeah.
But here's
Rise.
the test. Here's the
This
test, though.
one.
Taste.
It's all about the taste, though, isn't it?
Taste.
Doughy.
Go on, taste mine first. Yeah, have a taste. Do you want some salt? Got a
A
little
lot
bit
of
of
fat
salt.
is falling off you as we go.
Oh yeah, a bit dripping
bit of
coming through.
salt.
Beef dripping in there.
Yeah, a bit.
Yeah, a bit of beef
yeah.
dripping. Okay.
Get this one in.
What about Dermot's? What's he like? Have a little try of Dermot's. Don't you like mine?
Just stick these on.
Is it no good? Is it not? No. I think he's choking on my
With
one.
yours.
I don't think he likes mine.
Got no moisture left in my mouth after eating that.
No good? I think, who's won? Is it Dermot or Alison? Oh, Dermot, you've won.
Alison.
Take the bow. Absolutely. Oh, you've got a trophy. I'm so jealous. What would you like to say?
Well, I'd like to thank the boys first and foremost. But I love the fact you're still eating it. That's so impressive.
I like Alison.
But turning out, I know you've got a big week ahead of you. But
They're
so
TikTok stars now.
we're dedicating this to you.
Oh.
That is where this has come from, right? You put this on TikTok. What happened?
It just went crazy. My long-suffering wife said, pop it on. I apologise, darling, for the hassle that these Yorkshires have been for the last few weeks. We literally popped it on with my 22 followers.
Right.
I'd
Yeah.
only got it to see the rubbish that they sent me. And it went crazy. It went crazy. By the end of the next day, it was on 100,000. It's on 3 million.
Did someone pick it up and repost it or something? Like,
Yeah, thousands and thousands and thousands
And then
of us.
supermarkets and brands
Yeah,
got in touch
yeah,
as well.
yeah.
So what's happening? Is your life just taking off?
It's just crazy.
Well, that means you have to be in this outfit all the time. And can I just say, Aaron has eaten all of my Yorkshire pudding, even though I didn't win.
Is eating all of everyone's Yorkshire pudding?
Oh, he's putting your one on the side.
Thank you, Aaron. Brilliant.
He's on the costume on way out.
But you're not sick of Yorkshire puddings then? You still eat
never
them
be sick of
on your
Yorkshire
roast
pudding.
dinner and everything?
Yeah.
Oh,
Never
thank
be
you,
sick of it.
Thank you, James.
Now
Thank you,
go
Aaron.
and get out of this.
You can go and get out your outfit. Thank you
Well
so
done,
much.
boys.
Thank you so much for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every single day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you in the morning.
For all of that, charities and organisations are becoming increasingly worried about the occurrence of what's called will fraud.
Will fraud is where someone attempts to deceive and manipulate you to gain control over your savings and assets after you die. It often goes undetected and can be committed by those closest to you.
So when Rebecca Creed lost her auntie, her family were confused when the will's executive failed to get in touch. And their suspicions led them to discover Rebecca's aunt and uncle had been the target of a fraudster who scammed the family out of the £350,000 inheritance.
And Rebecca joins us now alongside solicitor Paul Britton. Welcome
Morning.
to both of you.
Hi.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for sharing this story, first of all. Rebecca, tell us a little bit about your uncle and auntie, first of all. Kathleen and Desmond, tell us about them.
Yes, they were a lovely married couple living in Cornwall. Their family was everything to them. and they lived for each other.
Aw.
They lived independently up until Auntie went into residential care, looked after extremely well. And like I say, the family meant everything to them. So in my younger years, we saw them at Christmases and family gatherings, and my gran and elderly aunts lived in one particular street, a row of houses, and then me and my cousins, we would probably often see each other, meet at Gran's, and then my auntie and uncle, who didn't have a car, would bus in.
Yeah.
And then there's like, with the chats, and then as we grew older, we'd see them less frequently as, we grew up and we had all our families, and but we still kept in touch, and Mum and Dad would be on the phone to them as needed, and every checking in and finding out what was going on, and regularly.
I mean, I think that sounds like quite a typical relationship and upbringing. You're so close with your aunties, uncles, and then as everyone gets older, you kind of go, but you still do that.
We care.
Right, that fondness is still there.
Yes.
But obviously, then there's a kind of a disconnect, isn't there? So because you want to be looking after them. So firstly, did they ever discuss their will at all with you guys?
No, but they discussed. I remember being at home on maternity leave, and my mum had said Uncle Desmond's rung 2:15, so Thomas would have been about what. And it stuck in my mind because she said, they just want your current address. And because I'd got married and changed address, they wanted all our details to make sure that they had the address. So we didn't know, we didn't ask any questions because we're not...
Why would you, yeah?
Well, we're not like that.
And was that to be executors on the will?
No.
It was just literally
It was just they wanted to up the address. So Mum and Dad assumed that they were checking out addresses and they were doing some kind of bequest of some kind on the will.
OK, so let's bring the story up to date. So who was John? When did you hear of him? And then when were your suspicions alerted with John?
Mr. Harris was referred to, I think, Mum and Dad, who'd say, how is Auntie Kathleen? John's doing this for them, that for them, whatever, helping them out or taking them to an appointment, whatever.
You didn't know who this John was?
No, but, Mum and Dad had checked out and gone to the solicitor.
Sure.
Because my dad's an ex-legal executive. He's now of ill health. Hence why my mum had to sort of deal with the action fraud and subsequent conversations.
Yes.
He was somebody that was spoken of as in a positive way.
Yeah.
A friend. And then I remember seeing my uncle when he was ill at the local hospital, because I lived where he was hospital, and Mum and Dad went, Mum went with me, and I remember Uncle Desmond saying, this is when Auntie was still alive, Uncle Desmond, we went to the hospital and he said, John's doing that for me. So, we didn't think anything was amiss.
I mean, that's quite a common occurrence, isn't it?
And it was done legally.
A friend with a neighbour or someone like that, and then, that's...
Well, I think subsequently we found out that the friendship wasn't quite as we thought it was, obviously, but we didn't realise that he'd made their acquaintance on a bus. There was lots of things that came out through the court case, which was quite harrowing.
And then you found all that out?
It was quite harrowing to listen to.
Sadly, Desmond did pass away.
Yes, he did.
At what point did you think, something's not right here?
Well,
something's not adding up?
Alan Tucker, which I can give him a nod, bless him, he's passed away. He was the dear cousin and an executor on the legal will in 2015. He was in Southampton, and which we now know is the fake will, he knew that it wasn't a genuine will because it was like 95% to Mr. Harris and 5% to Alan Tucker. Alan knew that was wrong. And quite emotional really, because he reached out through a solicitor to try and challenge that.
Yeah.
And sadly, he never got anywhere. And then he made contact with my parents, and they all grew up in the same village, back in Cornwall, small little village. They all got together. So they contacted each other on these 70-year-olds on Facebook.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't until 6 months after my auntie had died that Mum and Dad got involved, because they were sort of alerted to the fact that they were expecting some conversation. So they reached out to their solicitor, Ben Sidgwick at Codes, and he noticed on the piece of paper that the will pack that you can buy from W.H. Smith had a different date on the back, a later date than the supposed signature that my auntie was supposed, which has now been proved that that was not her signature.
So.
And there was 2 drug addicts that witnessed this.
Oh my
right.
goodness.
So let's bring Paul. I mean, just to sort of to summarise here. So that he imitated their handwriting to forge new wills, giving him the majority of the estate. He paid 2 vulnerable local men to witness the documents, paying them small amounts of cash, and made changes that passed on £85,000 directly to him. The investigation also found that he'd been taking advantage of his access to the bank accounts. Where do we start with this? How do you combat this kind of thing?
Look, it is difficult. What we're seeing here is, in Rebecca's case, that the will... It's right that testators or testatrix update their will, and they quite often do. But there's usually about 10 or 20 years between a will that they do in their 60s, 70s, 80s, and then they're like, right, actually, it dawns on them. Life has moved on, things has changed.
Yeah.
It's time to update it. Rebecca was called in 2015 for her address. That's when the genuine will was done. Now, between then and 2018, there was a material change. It went from the family getting 75% to nothing, wiped out. And this guy was getting 25%. How can you identify it? The type of people that you've got to look for in society are those who are vulnerable. But what does vulnerable look like? If they're on their own and they haven't got family visiting them, this is actually there are very rare facets to this case, to Rebecca's case. They did see their family, but quite often what you find is it's really an individual who isn't visited, doesn't have many friends. So we always say what you've got to do is you've got to check in on people at regular periods. If you're a neighbour, be neighbourly, think community. I don't mean do it every day or every week. Don't be intrusive. But at least 3 monthly, every half year, just knock on the door, see if they need anything, any help. That's one of the main things that you can do. Assist them if they need some assistance, for example, going to do their will, provide that assistance. What you can't do is, if you get a list of solicitors, you don't go with them. You can drop them off, don't go in. There can't be any undue influence or manipulation. Leave something to me.
Just really briefly, in terms of people with their own will, what's the one piece of advice you'd give them? Would it be to pick your power of attorney or pick your executors, like people you've known all your life? Or, I mean...
So let's just distinguish those. So you've got a power of attorney, that's in life. So you pick someone to deal with your affairs in life. When you pass, the power of attorney has no power. We then look to your will to see who you've named as your executors. So one's during life, one's after. Quite often they're the same. If you're doing a power of attorney, it's sensible to have a solicitor as a backup attorney. And if you're doing your will and you're naming executors, it's also sensible to have a solicitor as a backup executor as well.
We have run out of time.
OK.
Good for this man is actually in prison now.
Yes.
He's locked away.
Yes.
I hope that you and your family can get some recompense for everything, and you will get that money back eventually. I really do, Rebecca.
It's to their estate and their memory that we want this restored to what their wishes.
I agree.
Thank you.
I agree. Thank you for joining us and telling your story.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Just wanted to say thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. Now, listen, we upload new content every day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out. And we'll see you in the morning. Oh, I always get emotional on things like that.
We do. 3 of the top proposal team join us now. Lily, Henry and Annette. Morning, everyone.
Good morning. This is great, isn't it? You've literally turned your jobs into a TV show. We was watching it last night. It was so good, wasn't it? Will You Marry Me? And it basically follows lots of different stories, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Lily, tell us a little bit about it.
So it follows basically the lives of what we do and what we love. We got 9 proposals of people, and it's so different. It's one extreme to the next. And it made us realise there is literally not a standard way to propose.
No, there isn't.
Some of the things I get asked, I'm like, really?
Give us some of those things. What do you get asked?
Like, we get asked... I got one who was obsessed. Their first date was at an ice cream parlour. I was like, cute, that's really sweet,
Lot to work with.
I love ice cream.
Yeah, fine. We couldn't... No, he wanted the ring in the ice cream.
Oh, in the ice cream?
Dug in.
Oh,
Is that a blatant health and safety no?
I said I don't think health and regulation's going to stand for that, but she loved it afterwards. I put it on her finger and I was like...
Did she?
I don't know how...
But it was freezing cold, weren't it?
It's a bit sticky.
A bit sticky, yeah.
And you've had a proposal for a footballer, Lily?
Yeah, we've done quite a few footballers. We had one that gave us 4 hours' notice.
No.
What?
Yeah.
Can you tell us who gave you 4 hours' notice?
Diego Dalit.
All right, Diego.
What's going on, Diego? Bit of forward planning, please. I want to do it now.
Yeah, there was forward planning. It was going to be, so he was coming down to London and it was going to be in like the day after he had reached us, and we was like, that's fine, like, sort it, leave it with us almost. And then he just texted us, didn't he, like, what about tonight? Like, I'm here, and we was like, I'm obviously not going to say no.
And he had the ring on him and everything.
Yeah, when he had texted us, he was already on the train down.
Did you guys do Aaron Ramsdale's proposal?
Yeah.
I'm an Arsenal fan. We love Aaron.
I did. It was one of my first proposals I'd done like when I started working.
You get all the footballers, don't you?
I
feel like you literally do it all.
To the Lily.
You just get on with it.
How do you get into this industry? 'Cause
Yeah.
It's quite a unique industry it's quite niche, right?
Yeah.
So, and how did you get into it?
Well, I like to say I manifested the job. I heard about the proposers on TV 10 years ago, and since then I've done all sorts of different things. I baked cupcakes, and I was a travel agent for a while, et cetera, et cetera. But when I got married, I thought it was time to go into event planning, and I remembered the proposers, so I reached out to Daisy, our founder, and the rest is history.
What was your proposal like when you got married? Is it a goodie? Or was it a bit dry?
I love this story.
Go on, Anna.
He did well.
He did?
He did well. He took me to a Michelin star restaurant, and after that, he had our hotel bedroom decorated and everything, and it was very cute. And he wrote a speech that was just so lovely, so we were both on the floor crying.
That's so lovely.
Yeah, he's amazing.
One of the proposals that you organised, Nat, was actually in Santorini, wasn't it? And it involved a bit of a workout. Tell us about that.
So I do a lot of the destination proposals, and we get to travel pretty much everywhere on the job.
Yeah.
So wherever a client wants us to help him to pop the question, we are there. The Santorini proposal was definitely one of my favorite. It involved, the day started essentially with a workout on the beach. And then as they ran on the beach, they ran into a picnic setup that we created for them. They had a picnic, then horses came in.
Stop it.
The horses were a bit wild, but they still enjoyed their ride, and we had little signs.
It's beautiful, look at this.
I've got two questions. If you're involved in the destinations ones, in many ways, it looks glamorous and wonderful, but that must be harder because when you're local, you've got your set teams and people you know you can work with and people you can rely on. Well, when you travel far away, these are, I'm sure they're brilliant, but they're not necessarily, you don't know whether you can rely on that caterer or, because you don't have that relationship with them. That must be quite stressful.
And
you'd be really hot.
Yeah.
Really hot. Oh my God, that destination Santorini one. I mean, we were on the beach in the middle of the night setting up, and it was just sweat all over.
My second question is, I only just thought about this watching that, is how do you tell a person that's being proposed to that they're being filmed without them knowing they're going to be proposed to?
Yes, that's a good question.
Well, on the TV show, we came up with a bunch of ruses.
Yeah.
So from Kylie's proposal, which I loved her reaction, we told her that it's just an engagement party and the couple really wants to have different bits filmed beforehand. So then she got the shock of her life when it was for her. And for the Santorini one, she just thought it was the longest, best date ever because it started in the morning and it ended in a winery in Santorini, and we did hundreds and flowers, a mirror aisle, everything. So she just assumed...
So they just think there were cameras...
Yeah,
like,
for this
doing a show?
incredible day or...
And Henry, you organised a fake proposal, didn't you?
I did, yeah. That was when I just started, actually, 3 years ago now, for the DJ Tom Zanetti.
Oh, all right.
So, not quite what I expected, but you were really chilled about it, weren't you? And then as soon as I found out, I was like, I'm doing this one.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I took it straight out of Anat's hands, and
But it's still like it's a real proposal, isn't it?
Yes, it was for one of his music videos, so we literally set it up the same way as we do any other proposal, treated him like any other client. He got down on one knee, and yeah, you wouldn't have really known it was any different other than the fact that him and the girl weren't together. So.
How did you get into it, Henry? What's your background?
How did I get into it? So yeah, I sort of fell into it really about 3 years ago now, just before Christmas. I saw an ad on Instagram. Originally, it was only for 4 weeks leading up to Christmas, which is one of the busiest times of the year, so we're just going into that part of the year now. And yeah, just carried it on, absolutely loved it. Daisy, our founder, yeah, we got on really well, and she was like, do you want to sort of stay on the books? And
nice. The lovely thing for Henry, like just reading in the brief, it says it's really brought you out of yourself, because you've got to be quite an extrovert to do this, I suppose.
Yeah,
right?
and I never used to be. Like, if you'd have known me 10 years ago, this coming on a show like this today would have been my absolute worst nightmare.
Yeah.
I would have come up with any excuse possible.
And now you're loving it.
And yeah, I've done about 130
Now you-
proposals to date now. And yeah, you just have to get on with it. Like, it really brought me out of my shell. It allowed me to open up about my sexuality a few years ago as well, which was quite a big moment for me, as you can
Good for
imagine.
you.
And yeah, so many things have happened
Yeah,
throughout
great,
this
mate.
3-year period.
What has been the weirdest proposal that you've ever had, or the most expensive? Yeah. I want it all the juice.
She wants it all.
Expensive. There's quite a few, isn't there?
The most expensive proposal we've done was just under £1 million.
Are you actually joking?
He's still drinking.
It's mad, isn't it?
What, they didn't say it for the wedding? That's
He
£1 million
wanted to
just for
go.
the proposal.
Imagine how much the wedding cost then.
Yeah.
Oh my God, what did that involve?
Well, the initial brief was to get their faces beamed on the Eiffel Tower. We made all the phone calls. We couldn't quite do that. So we ended up doing a beautiful after-hours show in Disneyland, and their faces were beamed there.
Wow.
And then it took them to a bunch of different places around the world, ending in Niagara Falls, where their faces were, of course, beamed there too.
You got 100.
Unbelievable.
That's insane. You got 100% success rate. Do you ever tell people no? Like, do you ever go like, you shouldn't be doing it, you shouldn't be wasting money like this? Or do you go, I mean, you can't, right? This is your business. So
No, they were like,
have we ever said
spend
no?
£1 million. We take a little cut. It's
Have we ever
hard,
actually
though,
said
isn't
no
it?
to anyone? I don't know.
No, I'd feel awful. I could never.
I mean, like you said, we've got 100% yes rating,
Yeah.
so we've clearly
Yeah.
done the job right every single time. But
Well, that's my thing. I think if they're at the point where they're coming
Yeah.
to us, you got to know your partner.
you'd hope.
Yeah, to be fair, yeah.
Lily, Henry and Nat, thank you so much for joining us. You can check out Will You Marry Me on channel4.com right
Thank you so much for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every single day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you in the morning.
This guest is a world record holder who achieved the seemingly impossible.
Harry Magar lost both his legs in an explosion while serving as a Gurkha in the British Army in Afghanistan in 2010.
And yet, last year, Harry became the first double above-knee amputee to climb Mount Everest.
Earlier this year, Harry was awarded an MBE for his services to disability awareness. And tonight, you can see the emotional moment he accepted the Special Recognition Award at this year's Pride of Britain. Let's take a look.
I grew up in Nepal and always dreamed of climbing Everest. And I really struggled. And I was feeling so bad one day that if I'm gonna drinking this way, I'm gonna die soon. As I said earlier, my life, it's in my story, but my family will suffer from my legacy. So, okay, I'm gonna live my life for my family. I'm very grateful. Without you, I think I wouldn't be here. Thank you for giving me a second chance to relive my life again.
And Harry joins us. What a wonderful moment that was when they came out on stage and joined you.
It was amazing, and it was a bit overwhelming as well.
And a complete surprise. None of them had let you know that they were going to see you on Monday night. Had any of them sort of let it slip?
No, not at all. I wasn't expecting.
Gosh, the amount of deceit involved in them coming without you knowing is what you need to remember. It was so magical, Harry, on Monday night, being there for us, being surrounded by all of the winners. What was it like for you?
It was a bit overwhelming. I never went to climb Everest for, getting awards.
Sure.
Some of the awards I even didn't know. But I think it shows that anything is possible, even if we are disabled. But also, I think it shows that people with disability also can be proud of family, community, and country.
Can you tell us a little bit about your story and serving in Afghanistan?
We just were sent to Afghanistan. We were supposed to be there for 6 months, but very early in our tour, we were on foot patrol, and I was blown up, and I lost both of my legs, and one of my colleague was just behind me, and him like other people who did amazing job, patched me up and rescued me on time. So I'm here today talking to you
of them,
because of them.
And their quick thinking and the love that they show towards you.
But it's more complicated than that. I mean, clearly the explosion meant that you had to have double leg amputation above the knee. And then from somebody who had been very fit and very healthy and taken great pride in your role in the Gurkhas, to have to deal with the fact you've had that amputation, that was a very dark time for you, wasn't it, Harry? Can you explain a little bit about what you went through, learning to live with what had happened to you?
Yeah, it was very difficult. The first thing was I didn't know how powerful is the mind. Another thing, I didn't know about disability. And I knew that some of the disabled people were nicknamed from their disability when I was growing up and how they were treated. So I thought that my life is completely finished and I'm going to live my life as like them. And
so growing up in Nepal, I think you were saying that there was a lot of prejudice towards disabled people, and that was your experience. So you were worried you were going to be a burden to your family.
Yes, so I would be a burden to my family, which is a burden of the earth. No, so you are pretty much you are useless pretty much, and also. Many people in Nepal, but not just Nepal, later I found that around the world, disability is perceived as a sin of previous life. And I really suffered, I really struggled because of that, because I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what can I be able to do. So that took me to quite a difficult time, and I was trying to I was drinking so much to just control my pain and emotion. I was trying to take my life. And some of my friends, at one point, they actually rescued me. But some ways later, I went to do sports and yeah, I'm here.
Well, I was going to say, what was it that changed your mindset? What was it that made you see the light, What was it?
One day I felt absolutely terrible. I felt really bad. And just looking at my son, he was 2.5 years old, simply, if I die, it's end of my story. But my family will suffer because of me, and my young boy, he will suffer because of my, me, and they have to leave my negative legacy. So even sitting on a wheelchair somewhere, I think if I'm alive, I could able to still advise something to do and say, okay, I don't want to die anymore. No. Then after that, it was completely magical things. And I think life, it changes from very little moment, sometimes even by a word, by a phrase. So, yeah, one moment you want to do something, then you want to do everything.
Well, I mean, and when you say magical, he's magical.
And you want to do everything, but what you did was extraordinary. Climbing Mount Everest, the first person to do it, changing the law to make it even possible. When you look at these pictures, does that feel a little surreal, Harry, just thinking back? Or can you still remember every agonising step?
For me, every step is a struggle. And sometimes I think that, what am I doing? And also, is it worth of doing it? And the answer always comes, yes, because I really struggle nearly 2 years just not knowing about disability. So I want to make awareness of disability, that people with disability needs to know that we can do something. But also it's not just us, but we need to make aware to our family, friends, community and authorities so that they don't discriminate and ban us, but support us the right way. So we also can live happy, successful and meaningful life like others.
Flourish.
Yeah, there's no stopping it.
There is none. Harry, thank you so much for coming in and singing. It's an amazing thing to see you tonight as well on Pride of Britain. Everyone's going to absolutely love it.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see what happens next as well. The next adventure is just around the corner, I know.
Thanks,
Absolute
Harry.
star.
Thank you very much. Thanks for
Thank you.
having me.
Oh, hello. Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload tons of new content every single day. So hit the subscribe button, like all the videos, and don't miss out. We'll see you in the morning.
Well, one of those women bravely speaking out is model and TV personality Bianca Gascoigne, who says she was just 16 years old when she was sexually assaulted by Al Fayed while she was working for him. Bianca joins us now to share her story. Thank you for coming today.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much. So let's first of all talk about when you first met Mohammed.
Yeah, so I was very, very young. I used to go into the store with my parents. We used to have lunches there. He used to come over, be very personable, very charming, very giving. We'd bring us gifts, obviously Harrods, teddies and everything like that. So I felt very, I felt very safe around him early doors because obviously I saw him as, knowing my parents as well.
And he was with you. And he was a very charismatic man.
Absolutely.
He kind of won you over. Do you think that was a very specific thing that he was trying to do, is essentially win you over?
I don't know at that point, because obviously I don't think he knew that I would come to work for Harrods at that point. But obviously I think he was just doing the charm and, portraying this image that unfortunately he wasn't.
Of course, when you were a child, your dad was at the height of his fame with his football and adored, and your mum and their relationship. So going to Harrods was a very normal thing and they would have been looked after.
Yes.
Cut to when you're 16 and you got a job at Harrods.
Yes.
How did that come about, Bianca?
I left school and I knew I wanted to become a fashion buyer, and I fell in love with Harrods, obviously going there as a young age, and I just thought it was super impressive. So bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, I started as a temp, so I worked all in different departments, and then I ended up in one boutique within Harrods, and I just quickly worked my way up to become a fashion buyer. But then obviously that meant I had to deal with Al Fayed a lot more and take reports to him on a weekly basis.
So what happened in those interactions? Because you're only 16 at the time. I mean, it's a lot of responsibility to have as a 16-year-old anyway, professionally, let alone with this added layer that was about to start happening.
Yeah, it's, first of all, it very much started with, like I say, it was like a bit of grooming. He was always wanting to be there for me, very supportive, told me I was doing a good job. Unfortunately, he would bring up my dad's illness to use that. Because I feel like he must have thought I was quite vulnerable. So he would say he would be the father figure. But then shortly after, it would be like the touching and then obviously leaning in for a kiss. And then, unfortunately, it's very difficult to talk about, but, putting his tongue down my mouth. And to be honest, how I dealt with it was pretty much of an out-of-body experience. Like I was looking into what was going on, but not really, registering what was actually going on with me at the time, because I was super scared as well.
And why do you think you didn't say anything? Is it because, you were 16, you were in this dream job, he was so powerful?
Absolutely, there's a lot of aspects to it, and I felt very, very ashamed. I felt dirty, I just kind of pretended like it wasn't happening. I just put it in a box and moved on and was trying to deal with it. I couldn't even I've only just told my mum recently exactly what went down, because I just didn't want to upset any of the family. And it's bizarre why you shut down in that moment when really we should have a voice and we should speak up. And
as you say, you didn't want to tell anyone, so you didn't confide in any of your colleagues as well, who, as we're seeing now, hundreds of women were experiencing similar things.
Yeah, absolutely. It's ever since coming out, I've had so many women message me about their experiences, and it's just so upsetting. It really is. It's crazy how these things got brushed under the carpet, because it was pretty much, I didn't know at 16 going in, but it was pretty much a common knowledge thing that was going on. So it makes me upset to think of my 16-year-old self. It makes me sad that I would go up to the office and probably people would know kind of what was going to happen.
And there were other people that weren't trying to protect you.
Yeah, I guess so. Now I look back.
It escalated as well, didn't it, though, Bianca? Because what you've described there are the initial stages of what he's trying to do. But then you were flying out to Milan for a job. He offered you the Harrods flat to stay in, which was going to be great because that meant you could get to the airport quicker. And then suddenly he turned up that evening.
Yeah, it was totally, obviously unexpected. I thought, what a nice offer, because I was actually getting up early to go on a flight.
Was there any concern with everything else that you'd experienced from him that there was something else about
That's a very good point. To be honest with you, it was like 20 years ago. I can't remember exact emotions, but I didn't expect him in any shape or form to turn up. I was completely shocked and gobsmacked and didn't really know what to do. You know, I just was like, I'm in his apartment. What do I do? I'm like, no, you're not coming in. So obviously he came in, and that's obviously the worst ordeal that I had to go through, and that's what I've been dealing with for a very long time.
And he physically was trying to force himself onto you and force you to sort of engage with him in some way.
Absolutely, yeah.
Do you know how... it's difficult for you to talk about. Have you... And I'm sure you've thought about it a lot over the last few days as you've been sharing your experience. Do you know how you got out of that scenario?
When he was obviously coming on to me, being very forceful, obviously got my hand and he got his privates out and tried to manoeuvre and push my head down. I think I just kind of wiggled out of the situation. It's all a bit of a blur, to be honest, because it's something that I've like really tried to block out. But I think maybe because I did work closely to people that he knew and where he knew my parents, even like my mum actually went into a meeting once because he offered to buy me an apartment. This was obviously early grooming stages. And she was like, this is a red flag, you know, something's not quite right. And I should have told her at that point, but I think I was just so scared, and just obviously was a powerful man.
Yeah. And obviously being 16 as well, you don't have that much life experience yet. How did it affect you afterwards?
Yeah, I think I felt comfort in drinking, so I drank from like a young age because I just wanted to numb out a lot of the emotions that I was feeling. But just doing this, I just really hope that I can be a voice for other women and, you know, any women that haven't come out, because of the amount of messages that I've had to say, I don't feel so isolated anymore, I don't feel alone. And that's, you know, that's just... I feel like I've done a job well done already with that. You know, even if anything doesn't come of it, I want to be able to change my daughter's future, you know, for these big companies, not just to brush all these things under the carpet. You know, I feel like it happens a lot. So if I can do anything to change that, I will.
And you said that you hadn't been able to share it with your mum over the years. You have now since shared this all with your family, and I'm sure they've heard you talking. How has that process been for you?
I'm going to try not to cry, but obviously it's very emotional. And my mum watching the interview, she was very upset.
You know, one of the most important things is that you feel like you can come and share it, because, as you say, there could be people watching at home today that are going through something similar, and understanding that sharing it with their family, as painful as that might be, also helps.
Absolutely. Like, since I've shared my news, the healing that I've done, it's been very empowering, and I really would love to encourage anyone that's been through anything just to even speak to a friend. There's a couple of women that have come forward, well, many, that saying, oh, you know, you've actually given me the courage. I'm going to speak to my best friend. I'm going to speak to my family. And that's, you know, it's about not holding it in. You know, I felt very ashamed.
Yeah.
But it's not us that should be ashamed. It's obviously the perpetrator and the predator that should be, you know, held accountable for it.
So Harrods have been in touch and said we are utterly appalled. These are the current owners of Harrods, who, of course, it's very different owners now. We're utterly appalled by the allegations of abuse perpetrated by Mohammed Al-Fayed. We acknowledge that during this time his victims were failed, and for this we sincerely apologise. It has been our priority to settle claims in the quickest way possible, avoiding lengthy legal proceedings for the women involved. While we cannot undo the past, we have been determined to do the right thing as an organisation, driven by the values we hold today, while ensuring that such behaviour can never be repeated in the future. I wonder how you feel you will get some sort of justice. We know that Mohammed Al-Fayed, of course, isn't here to answer all of these claims.
I think for me, it's just hopefully in future, like especially for my daughter's generation, for big companies to really, you know, focus on these things that can go down when someone so powerful is in charge and he can't get away with it and it gets brushed under the carpet. And just for more women to come forward and find their voice and to know that, you know, it's not us that should be ashamed.
Yeah, absolutely. Protect the future generations,
absolutely,
essentially. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you, Bianca. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Bianca.
If you've been affected by anything we've discussed, all the helplines you need are available on our website and on our This Morning. Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out, and we'll see you in the morning.
We really are.
Since 1999, Pride of Britain has celebrated the truly extraordinary achievements of people of all ages, from children of courage to life-saving emergency workers and people who make the world a better place in their local community.
So it's in its 25th year now. The awards took place on Monday evening. Amongst the winners was 8-year-old Florrie Bark, whose unwavering positivity and bravery as she awaits a lung transplant morning has seen her honoured with a Child of Courage award.
Please welcome the one and only Florrie Bark.
Please consider becoming a bone marrow and organ donor, as well as giving blood. It saved mine and so many of my friends' lives. It could save many more. I am doing this for all of the children with cancer that can't be here tonight. Have happy days. Thank you.
Florrie, it is our absolute privilege and honor to award you the Pride of Britain Award.
And we're joined by Florrie and her parents, Andrew and Stacey, and Pride of Britain host Carol Vorderman this morning. Guys, I have to say, what a night. What
Incredible, wasn't it?
Just incredible.
Can we just have a moment? Because 25 years you've been doing this, Carol Vorderman, you're still crying. It's an amazing thing.
She does it to me.
Yeah.
What's so remarkable, Florrie, about you, and we'll hear your story tomorrow night, but also now, it's just that the stuff you do is about the other children. And it's just... Oh, it's just wonderful.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm having a moment.
No, you're right, Carol. I actually had... So my little boy, Milo, is 8, same age as Florrie. And I had a chat to him about Florrie last night as we were having our baked potatoes and saying how amazing you were. And you're absolutely right. What a positive human being.
You are extraordinary, Mrs. And she's very persuasive.
Florrie, tell us what the night was like for you, because you've been in on this morning and we'd spoken and you'd met Alison and Joel when you came in. But what was Monday like?
Monday, this week.
Yes, this week. Probably a good one to start. And then we'll do next week in a minute. What was Monday night at the Pride of Britain like?
It was really fun. I loved getting the award and seeing Joel again.
Yeah. He was so excited to see you, of course. But you went to visit him at the Masked Singer too, didn't you?
Yeah.
What was that like?
It was really fun. I loved hearing the music and I got to go backstage.
Backstage too.
Did you get to meet everybody?
I didn't get to meet the people in the costumes.
That's secret though, secrets. You've got to keep that secret, haven't you?
I can't tell you who's wearing the costume. I can't tell you what costumes there are.
OK.
So I got to see some of the costumes.
Which was amazing. Because when you got told that you won a Pride of Britain, well, you're a big fan of music and singers.
Yeah.
That was really special too, wasn't it? Who did you meet and who told you about your prize and your award?
I met Perry from Little Mix.
Oh, my days! How special is Perry, by the way?
She's so cool.
So
She's
cool.
one of my favourite singers.
And this was the most wonderful way of doing it because you thought you were just watching a video.
Yeah.
And then what happened?
Yeah. She asked me if she could see me.
And did that seem a little strange? Because you're thinking,
Yeah, I was like, I'm watching a music video. Then she just came out of the TV, it looked like. She's like, hello. Where did she come from?
And now she's your best friend.
Yeah, she's my best friend now.
What can you say about that? And what about the Prime Minister? You met the Prime Minister the other day too, didn't you?
Yeah.
What was that like?
It was really fun. I said to him,
Yeah.
I'm going to be the new Prime Minister. I'm going to take over.
I would vote for you.
We all
For
would.
sure.
My new friend that I met at Pride of Britain, he was like, give my dad a new paycheck.
Oh.
Give my dad some more money.
That was to the Prime Minister as well.
Look, Jacob, the
other that was little Jacob.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Jacob the pilot.
Yeah,
I
Jacob.
think he's on Good Morning Britain tomorrow, isn't he, Jacob?
His dad's a paramedic.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So it sounds like you all gave the Prime Minister quite a hard time. A little.
Excellent. She can. She's a superstar. But you're also raising lots of money for your charity as well. Tell me about your charity. What's it called?
It's called Be More Fab. It stands for Florence Save Buck. My initials. It's right there.
Yeah.
And what does it do, your charity?
My charity helps other children like me.
Yeah.
And when you're missing out on school, like I am, when we are big enough, we got to get some teachers, and now we have enough money to get free teachers for our charity because of how much we raised the other night.
Wow.
That's brilliant, because we raised loads of money, didn't we?
Those teachers will be able to go into the hospitals and help with the children and give them some education and stuff?
And sometimes even at home.
Even at home
so
too.
providing tuition at home for children that are off, but they can't go attend school because their immune systems are too compromised, or they're still having treatment. So to be able to provide online tuition and some tuition in the homes for those children, as well as then support in schools by going in to talk through the challenges of having a child that's diagnosed with cancer, actually being able to explain to a group of... So, for example, when Florence was first diagnosed and she was 5, and they had to tell a group of Year 1 children what cancer is, why, and so that's a really difficult thing for a school. So actually we want to be able to provide that support with schools, so we can go in, do workshops, assemblies, be able to explain it in a child-friendly way, which is what Florence has done, recorded lots of videos explaining what cancer is, so that children, it seems a little bit more relatable.
Yeah. And that's one of the reasons we've all got to know you so well, because you've got such a massive online following. You're an influencer, Florence, aren't you? Like all the superstars. Carol, it's always an extraordinarily special evening.
It really, really is, isn't it?
And but 25 years, I mean, we talked about Peter Willis, of course, your great friend whose idea with you was the Pride of Britain, who's sadly not with us.
Yeah.
And as a celebration of the silver anniversary of Pride of Britain, it was one of the best I've been to.
Was it, Ben?
Yeah,
Did
it
you
really
feel
was.
That? I felt that. And the wonderful thing about Pride of Britain is not only these superstars, as you rightly identify, Florrie, but we also, you know, give awards, for instance, to the campaigners about the infected blood scandal, and we raise issues which are incredibly important, politically and otherwise. And they have their opportunity to say to everybody and to know that they are recognised, that we see them when they have fought for 30, 40 years for truth. So all sorts of incredible people. I mean, lots of happy moments. It's a celebration, isn't it, Florrie?
Yeah, everyone, had really nice stories. Everyone was so nice.
Yeah.
That we all became friends.
Yeah. And I say that we have our winners' dinner, don't we, the night before, where we go and we meet everyone. And everybody meets the other winners.
Yeah.
Did you find that was good, Andrea?
It was lovely, wasn't it?
It was.
Yeah. And you see the other people. So when you go into the room, it's like a team.
Exactly. We felt like that settled everyone's nerves massively, and I think just everybody then being in it together and just hearing other people's stories was the most inspiring night, sitting here and then
there's
being
a
able
thing,
to talk to each
because
other.
Florrie takes all this stuff in her stride, but Andrew, you and Stacey, I mean, going down the red carpet can be quite an intimidating... It's intimidating for us doing it.
Yes.
But for you guys, how did you feel getting ready and going and doing it?
It felt really surreal, but we were just concentrating on Florence and Freddie and making sure they were OK, and Florence absolutely thrived on that red carpet.
She did.
Freddie seemed a bit shell-shocked at some stages, but he loved it too, so...
So, Florrie, what was your favourite moment of the whole night? If you had to pick one.
I loved meeting everybody and meeting the other winners, speaking to them, and meeting some of the other people. I loved meeting the dance group, Diversity.
Yes.
Now
Yes,
they're going to do
brilliant.
something. They're going to do something with our charity. They're going to do a dance workshop.
Amazing.
It's gonna be so fun. They've invited us to go to the place.
Oh, you'll love it.
It was very funny. Ash said to Florrie the night before, he said, well, I've got, 1.8 million followers on TikTok. Is that enough? She went, what about Perry? He said, well, he's about 2.5. It was like, Ash.
She definitely knows how to work a room,
She
for
does.
sure.
Takes no prisoners, do you,
Quite
Florrie?
right, too.
No, get that message out.
And now then, Florrie, on your rider, Kat was talking to you the other night, and she was saying, what would you like in your dressing room?
I remember it was fruit and vegetables, especially strawberries, and Sour Patch apples, the ones that are really sour that make you close
Do
your eyes.
you love those sweets that sort of really make you wince?
Well, it doesn't do that to me. I just love
You just
Sarah
love
Smith.
it. Well, look, we've got one last present that we're giving to Amy Preston, which we thought our boys love these.
Is this the one you wanted?
Do you like
Are
these?
these ones good?
They are gluten-free.
Are they?
They are gluten-free as well.
Oh, I'm into those.
Very similar.
It's actually called toxic waste. So if you don't wince eating these, I will be super impressed. But our boys love them. I know your boys love them as well. Florrie, thank you for being so special, being fab.
Thank
Can't wait to see what happens as well, because you announced the total from what we raised the other night for your charity, but also once the show goes out on Thursday night.
Absolutely.
Everyone else
QR code straight to the GoFundMe.
I wonder how much we're going to have then.
You'll be able to wake up Friday morning and find out.
Yeah, be sweet. Thank you, Flora.
Thank you all for coming in.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Carol, lovely to see you.
Thank you.
What are we going to do now?
Well, I don't know. Should we just say thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload tons of new content every single day. So hit the subscribe button, like all the videos, and don't miss out. We'll see you in the morning.